Mwah.
Hey, Eddie.
Hey guys, how you doing? I hope you guys are all doing well. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've done one of these. Last one was Super Team Megaforce. I hope you guys are doing well. We just took a couple of days off this week to recharge the batteries, James and I think it means we're going to have a much better show today. Welcome to Small Screen Stories.
And everyone else gets a show on Friday and Saturday too from us.
Exactly. That's the other thing I was going to say. So we're doing a show on Friday and Saturday. So there you go. That's the big. I suppose that's the big news. Right. So welcome to Small Screen Stories. Before I get started, if you could like and subscribe, that'd be wonderful. If you can hit that like button, that would be really good. And I wonder if James is going to tee up a clip.
Go over there and hit the fucking like button. All right, you hit it now. You motherfucking hit the fucking like. I just told you to hit the motherfucking like button. So you gotta do it right now. Do it. Hit the like button, right? You gotta do that right now. Right? It's all I tell you to do is hit the fucking like button. Do it now.
I don't do requests.
Yeah, all right. If James, if you haven't hit the like button already, James, then there's something wrong. You have to hit the like button. Okay, you have to subscribe. You have to hit the like button. You have to support us because even though we took a couple of days off, we still do a lot of work. So let's go straight into the. Actually, before I say that, you can like and subscribe. You can follow us at Small Screen Small Screen Co. You can listen to this later on as a podcast at Small Screen Stories. You can also go to the website at small-screen.co.uk. Right, now that I got that stuff out of the way, let's get started.
Wow.
Let's go and say hello to everyone in the chat. Who do we have in the chat? We have Dan Zig, who wants cocainum. Does he? Cocainum. There you go, Dan. That's for you. We got the Sax God in the comments as well. Very, very cool dude. He's been watching some Oscar movies. Yes, he told me about that. I think he did tell us which films he's watching later on in the comments. We'll get to that in a bit. Solmac is in the comments. Says lurk. So he's lurking in the comments. Is he? Is that what that means? I don't know. I'm a bit behind on some.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. Who do we have? We have DLW says, been a while, Edward. What's hope? Hope all is well, kind sir. Thank you very much. All is fine. All is fine. We just wanted to take a couple of days off because we kind of been building up quite a lot of stuff to talk about. So this is probably going to be actually quite a long live. I'm sorry about that, James. But we've got quite a bit of stuff to talk.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
it's how it usually is, James. So we've got some Warner Media stuff for you guys. We've got some probably Mindhunter stuff coming up if you're interested in Mindhunter. We've got some Marvel stuff and all. It's gonna be a great show. We've got lots of stuff to talk about. Who else do we have in the chat? We have Geekosty Mag says lurks proper, of course. Geekosty Mag always in the chat. Hamada Burger's here. Welcome to Hamada Burger. Hashtag Hamada Burger. Chubby Teddy Monster Production says, anyways, hello everyone. Hello to you, Chubby Teddy Monster Productions. Hamada's weave is something else in this picture. Yeah, that is a very good picture, man. Same Sonic, different case. Batthirst. Yes. Betthirst. There's a live one for you there. DLW says he do keep the weave tight though. Yes, he do. He does do that. Does Hamada. Sean Harrigan's in the chat saying hi all Snyder steaks for everyone. It's the Snyder cut. Who knows?
Wish I held onto a little piece of that thing, because the buzz is any indicator, that movie's gonna make some huge bank.
What buzz?
It's going to make some huge bank. Well, yes, there is an AT&T thing to talk about, I suppose, later. I think I have a bit of a different take to a friend of the show, Sil. James guy, he's in the comments as well as producing the show. Says, "What's up, everyone? I hope you guys say hello to James. Make sure you say hello to James in the chat." And Reese says, "Hello there." Have we got? Is it coming? He's got to reorganize all the clips, so it's probably going to take him a while. Come on, James. No, he's not doing it. He doesn't do requests. Oh, come on. You can't leave me hanging like that, James. Come on, do it. Do it now. Do it now. No, he's not doing it. All right, let's move on then.
Hello there.
Oh, finally. Thank you for leaving me hanging, James. Right, who else do we have in the comments? We have We have a bunch of new comments. Come on. We have Count Falconer, who's a new, I think, a new welcome to the show. I think you're new. I haven't seen you before. Can someone remind Warner Brothers that they own Looney Tunes, and just because they own Looney Tunes, it doesn't mean that they have to act like them. I completely agree with you guys. Just because they own Looney Tunes doesn't mean they have to act like a bunch of Looney Tunes, which they are doing, and they've been doing for a while now. AC says, how crazy is Europe because of the Super League BS? Off topic, lol. I could talk about the Super League for a while. I'm gonna be honest. It's a whole football thing, or soccer if you're American. It's probably not the show for it, but it's complete BS. I'm glad it's not happening. It looks like it's not. I'm a Liverpool fan, so I'm glad that's not happening.
What?
Yeah, James is probably completely lost with all that football talk. Danzig says, hell of a show on Friday for Super Team Megaforce. I still can't say it. You deserve that break. Thank you very much. I think we're just working on the site and stuff, so doing that.
Super Team Mega.
JLS Comics.
Super Team.
All right, I'll hit that like button. Right. Thank you, James. Thank you. That's good. You can stop now. Let's carry on. Mikey Sutton, my laugh is immortalized. Yes, it is. It is. I love that laugh of you.
Go over there and hit the fucking like button. All right, you hit it now. You motherfucking hit the fucking like.
That's so good. It's the laugh that makes it. And Red Ranger 241. Red Ranger 241 is in the comments saying sup to you. Gunnar Moose is in the comments, has shared and liked. Thank you very much, Gunnar. And then same Sonic, different case says he laughs. Of course he does. This is Danzig says you made the missus very happy with your Mindhunter season 3 news. Oh, I'm very happy that you like that. Incidentally, the actor in it, Holtz. McClen. I can't pronounce his last name, but he actually shared the article as well on Twitter, which was pretty damn cool. That was cool of him. Right, who else? At least I wasn't gunned this time. John McIntyre says knuckle supper.
Call it, Sanchez, or you'll get a knuckle supper.
That's what he wants. And who else? Right, we have Prince Zodiac says hi guys. And yeah, he does. It's his whole TikTok thing, right? With like that. You know, fine. I can't do that. I can't do that rubbish. But thank you very much for that. Didn't mean to call it rubbish. Danzig says quite a few online journalists on Twitter seem to be loving the Hamada burgers. Yes,
Hamada burger. Hamada burger. Hamada burger.
Sounds rather delicious. They do. They're loving those Hamada burgers. I wonder how much they pay to eat them. Right. What else do we have? We have in the comments something from DLW says almost forgot cocainum.
Пошли. Все вместе. Какие ваши доказательства? Cocainum.
There you go. Reese75 says, what are you watching first tomorrow? Mortal Kombat or Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Mortal Kombat all the way. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Mortal Kombat is something I've been really excited about seeing. You lie! Honestly, no, I don't lie, mate. It's something that I love the games. I love the. I'm a kind of not. It's not guilty pleasure that the original movie, the Paul W.S. Anderson movie, I really do love. Even though it's not very good, I know it's not very good. I also love Event Horizon. So there's two films that I really do like of his, and I really want to see this. So it looks the trailer looked really good. I'm going to be honest, Falcon the Winter Soldier is good. It's good, but it's not like I'm not as pumped for it as I was for WandaVision. Like WandaVision was something I was really looking forward to on Fridays, and Falcon the Winter Soldier I kind of wait a while before I watch it now on Fridays. So I'll still watch it tomorrow. I'll watch Mortal Kombat.
What?
Yeah, James doesn't agree with me, but you know what? Each to their own. It's an opinion, mate. Right, what else do we have? We have Danzig in the comments saying Hamada wants to reboot the Justice League and call it the European Super League. Oh man, I love these in jokes. People are not good.
And I do think that moving.
Yeah, yeah, and then it'll fall flat on its face, won't it? That's the whole opinion. That's the whole point. At least, actually, tell you what, at least the clubs have been listening to the fans in that regard. Red Ranger 241 says, as someone who doesn't care for football, I wanted the Super League to go ahead and be like WWE, storylines and all. Well, that's not very popular in the UK or Italy or Spain. Any of the countries involved, they were getting very annoyed about it. I love the fact that you guys are mentioning the Super League so much. What else do we have in the comments? We have is Hamada fired yet? No, he's still there. He's still there, and he'll probably be there until 2023. I'll explain why in a bit. AT&T data expected as hell. Yeah, well, we're not going to delve too much into the data because honestly, when people were talking about the investors call, they were I think a lot of people were expecting an almost like Disney Investors Day presentation. It was never going to be that. This is literally just for investors, so it's very, very data driven. And yeah, that's true. So it wasn't the event that I think certain people were bigging it up to be. It was very much investors only. It wasn't streamed anywhere. There is a PDF out there, which actually the Sax God very kindly shared with me. And after reading the PDF, I can tell you that the Snyderverse or Justice League's Zack Snyder's Justice League was mentioned, I think, twice, not like in that thing, and they really did push Godzilla versus Kong. So to me, that signals that that's the end of the Snyderverse. But I know that Sil has been saying otherwise, and that's fine. You know, each to their own. Honestly, I have been saying this I mean, there are only really two ways that the Snyderverse can continue, and that's if AT&T really gets behind it, and the other option is if The Rock gets behind it, and he is trying to get. I mean, there are still discussions being had at the moment. There are still possibilities for it to continue, but at the moment, as it stands, I really do think this investors meeting or presentation, whatever it was, the investors call, really did show to me that they are just letting Warner Brothers carry on with it, and they're focusing heavily on HBO Max. And for them, Godzilla was a bigger thing, and they made that clear I mean, I can share the PDF.
Man, don't bullshit me.
I'm not bullshitting you. It's true. They did highlight the fact that a lot of these things have been doing well for them and have been pushing people to subscribe to HBO Max. But really, they're really focusing on things like the Nevers and
What?
it's true. I know it's mad, but it's true. It is mind-boggling, but it's what they're doing, and it's unfortunate. Well, the thing is, let's take a step back and look at it for Zach, right? Zach's got on May 21st, he's got Army of the Dead coming out.
Incoming rant, everyone.
Yeah. He's got Army of the Dead coming out. So that film already is tracking to do ridiculously well for Netflix. So for Zach, the best possibility would be that he'd get to do both. That he'd get to do like an Army of the Dead sequel, get to do more stuff with Netflix, get to do more stuff that he wants to do aside from Warner Brothers, and also get to continue the Snyderverse. Now, that would be everyone would love that, wouldn't they? They'd love to for him to have as much work as possible, and I'm pretty sure he'd want to do that. I'm pretty sure his production company want him to do that, or his wife as well. The way it's going now, AT&T is there. We've said this all along. It was very unusual that they stepped in to greenlight Zack Snyder's Justice League. That is very unusual.
The extraordinary consequence.
Yeah, it's an extraordinary consequence, or it's extraordinary. It doesn't usually happen that a parent company does that. They usually just let the companies that they own get on with it. So that means Warner Brothers, Warner Media. So Warner Media is the company as a whole. That it includes Warner Brothers, HBO Max, and all the whole shebang. And this Investors Day presentation, this Investors Day call, for me, proved that that all they care about are the numbers. They're so data driven. That's all they care about. Now, the Zack Snyder's Justice League, I think they still didn't release the actual numbers that the film did, which I was really hoping they would do, but they didn't. And the reason
It's like, fuck it, you know.
Exactly. The reason it is like fuck it, but the reason they didn't do it is because of this gagging order. Warner Brothers doesn't want anyone knowing how well the film's done, which is why it's so bloody confusing at the moment. Like, we're getting conflicting messaging from all over the place about the numbers. Now, I'm not I don't have access to the numbers. If I did, I'd give them to you. But we've had the stuff from Samba TV. We've had the stuff from whatever the hell Variety's intelligence platform is. It's not an intelligence platform. It's a load of bullshit. And then we got the stuff from Deadline, where they literally took Samba TV's numbers and twisted them. And sorry, and then worldwide, we've been getting these numbers that look really good for Zack Snyder's Justice League. But then Warner Brothers and HBO Max goes out and says Godzilla vs Kong is the highest performing movie for us, like, this year, and possibly like ever. I've heard people say, like, on streaming. And the mind-boggling thing about that is that's a movie that's Legendary Pictures film. That's not Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers doesn't produce this, or they have the distribution rights to this movie. The movie they have everything for is Zack Snyder's Justice League. So technically, they would have made more money out of that film now if they'd released it in cinemas, which in certain places, I mean, hopefully they will end up doing that at some point, but I don't know if they are. I really do hope at least that his film gets a cinematic release. That would be great. But with it being 4 hours long, I suppose Warner Brothers thinks there's no point. So the way they're acting is the way AT&T is acting is very much like, we don't want to be too involved in this. We're going to let Warner Brothers carry on the way they're carrying on. We're going to let HBO Max do what it's doing and then see what happens. What do you think, James? I saw you come in.
Just take off your headphones for a minute.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
That wasn't so bad, actually. So the whole there is a really big problem here, and that's that. The Warner Brothers is supposed to be a filmmaker studio first, and they're really not thinking about the filmmaker at all here. They're not putting filmmakers in pole position at all. They're really going behind. They're going on the bad robot bandwagon, and we'll get into that in a bit. But let's go back into the comments. Let's see what everyone's saying. And yes, I do see in the comments Reese is saying that Zach is planning an IMAX event. Yes, he is. He is planning an IMAX event. So hopefully that will happen, and that will be big, but it'll be an event. It won't be like released in a lot of cinemas. It won't be a wide release, which is what I really think the film needs. Same Sonic Difference says, Mikey! And I know.
Come on, just fucking Mikey!
There you go. Prince Zodiac says, can I ask a Marvel question? Do you think Werewolf by Night will ever be a thing? You know what? I think it could be. It's actually a really good question. I actually haven't thought about that at all. Probably a better person to ask would be either TiVo or Mikey, or even Peter when he's on. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't see why they wouldn't. They are going into more like the Marvel universe. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is going into more supernatural areas. So we're seeing Blade coming. I hope it's coming. Yeah, we're seeing Blade coming, and then we've got with everything with WandaVision that happened is very supernatural. Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness looks like it's really going to go down that supernatural route. So I do think there's an element of that. We've got witches now in the MCU, so why not have werewolves? So Werewolves by Night, I think it possibly could be making some sort of be introduced in some way in the MCU. Possibly not the way it is in the comics, or exactly like it is in the comics. They'll kind of MCU it, if that's the thing you can say. But yeah, that's a good question. Thank you for that. And so what's up, everyone? DC Talk with Extended. I hope you're doing well. DC Talk with Extended. And I'm going to butcher your name. Ozcan. I'm just going to call you that, Ozcan. Hello, first time I joined. What's the purpose of this channel? That's the question I'm pretty sure everyone's asking themselves. What is the purpose of this channel? The purpose of this channel is to have fun. Yeah, exactly. That's it. And interspersed with silly clips. There you go. That's the purpose of this channel. The purpose of this channel is to confuse you. Here's Red Ranger 241 says they released a clip of Jack's fatality today, and God, yeah, it looks good. I honestly think this film looks really good, so I'm excited to see Mortal Kombat. Right, what else we have? Says Mikey says, I think the reason why people anticipated WandaVision more every week is to see if Mephisto would show up, and I completely agree with you, Mikey. For me, that was a big deal. Even though in the back of my head I was like, I don't think Mephisto is ever going to come to the MCU in the way we want him to. I think China has a lot of say in that, really, unfortunately, the Chinese market. And as we keep on saying, the devil or any kind of iteration of the devil is not permitted into the Chinese market. So if Mephisto was going to come in, Mephisto would be a pretty big deal. So honestly, the whole time I was watching WandaVision, I was just waiting for Al Pacino to turn up and go, hooah! And then everyone would be like, oh my God, he's Mephisto. But yeah, it didn't happen. And that's a shame. In a perfect world, Mikey. In a perfect world. Right. Next comment. We have Gunamu says AT&T will never be Disney. No, that's it. AT&T is not Disney. AT&T is first and foremost. They're not real. They're in communications. They're in telecommunications. That's their whole game. They're very new into. I mean, they did have I think they had a TV like section, and they sold it. I think a direct TV thing, and they sold it. So for them, HBO Max is a really big thing. And that's why they're like, if you look at the PDF, it really is HBO Max focused, like more than anything I've ever seen. They don't talk about cinematic releases of anything, and I know that's probably because of the pandemic, but also they just don't care. They don't care about that area of business, which is kind of weird because you think it's like, you know, a Batman versus Superman film or like a Justice League 2 could make over $1 billion in cinemas when cinemas are eventually opened again. But that's not what they care about. All they care about is bringing in the money. Whereas Disney is very much more. They're so much more involved. Disney is a movie studio first and foremost. Like that's what they were. That's, you know, they had the parks and all that as well, but really, Walt Disney was a movie guy. That's what he loved. So, you know, that's in Disney's DNA. AT&T is just is what's in their DNA, giving you bad signal. I think that's at least if John Oliver's anything to go by, that's what AT&T is all about. Right, moving on to the next. Hopefully, AT&T won't come and do something. Jedi Master EJ says, hate missing this live. I have to catch the replay. Wife has me out shopping at IKEA. I love IKEA, so you know, have a good time. Catch it on the replay. Dan Zig says, one thing that surprised me is HBO Max ain't all that. They didn't reveal their increase for HBO Max subs. True. And instead bundled HBO in with HBO Max to bolster their numbers. True. Yeah, or as some people in the US like say, fact. Yeah, you're completely right, Dan. They didn't do that. They put everything together to make it look better, because it's. Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. I mean, the whole Investors Day thing is so that you know that they're trying to promote themselves. They're trying to say, look, we've done such a good job. Q1's been brilliant, and in fact, you know, Q1's been fine, and like HBO Max is never going to do the numbers that they want it to do because it's not released worldwide, which is completely and utterly bonkers. Like, I mean, I know someone that's involved in trying to get has been involved in trying to get HBO Max released in Europe and like available in Europe, and it's been a complete nightmare. And one of the reasons it's been such a nightmare is because of all the stupid deals that HBO's been doing. Well, I suppose not really stupid, like, but they're really not very. They were not thinking they're not thinking about the kind of the end goal, and really they're not playing the long game, which is that was what I was looking for. They were really thinking, okay, in the UK, for instance, we'll just let all of our stuff go onto Sky Atlantic. We'll sign a very long contract with them, so we don't have to worry about that for a number of years. And then HBO Max comes around like, oh shit, we want to release this in the UK. They did the same thing with Canal Plus in France, and I'm pretty sure elsewhere in Europe they've done similar deals, like Italy as Sky as well. So they did similar deals with countries all over Europe where these contracts are going on for a number of years and they just can't get out of them. Now, what Disney did, because Disney did similar things with Sky, where they had like their movies go out on Sky, but what they did is they paid them off. They just said, look, we'll pay to get out of these contracts, and they did that. So they released Disney Plus later in Europe and in other regions, but at least they released it in the same year that they released it, that they made the app and streaming service available in the US. Right, I think that's James telling me to stop doing the round. DLW says it's literally a PR nightmare to come out and admit that the attempted Saratoga movie, Zack Snyder's Justice League, did better than anything they've ever put out. Nightmare. I mean, yeah, it is a nightmare. It is a PR nightmare. Like, I just really wish they would like at least just own up and give us the numbers. Like, and that would I put that if which I severely doubt. If the numbers are worse than we think, then I'm pretty sure that's fine. And I mean, maybe some Snyderverse fans will say, "Oh, these numbers have been sabotaged," but at least it would give us something. It would give us something a bit more concrete to lean on, because at the moment we're just working with like nothing really. It's like absolutely nothing. Let's have a look at the comments. Let's see what else what other people have to say. Sean says Christopher Nolan loves Warner Brothers.
It's like, fuck it, I mean.
Well, that's the thing. That clip really makes me think. Literally, Warner Brothers in this whole ordeal have lost one of the best filmmakers to have ever lived. Let's be honest. Like, honestly, if you don't think Christopher Nolan is one of the best filmmakers to have ever lived, then he is. And he's not going to do another film with Warner Brothers after this, after that whole HBO Max stunt they pulled. So this has been a terrible year for Warner Brothers, like an unprecedentedly bad year. And in the article that Warner Media's plans for DC films inside the Mayhem, a lot of the reasons why they're not pursuing the Snyderverse is to do with money. They're really, really low on cash. And the pandemic is one reason, but it's a poorly run company, and it has been for a number of years, and that's one of the main reasons why they're in this mess. Right? What other comments do we have before we introduce tonight's guest? Snyder is gone in a few months. I think you're right. I think Snyder is not going to bother with the Warner Brothers for a while. Chad Fisher says, "What are your thoughts on a Batfleck series?" Well, my thoughts on that is that you should go and check out Mikey's article. He's saying that it's back on, that AT&T is looking at this as a possibility. So, I mean, this wasn't, of course, revealed in the investors' call. It never was going to be. But it's a kind of no-brainer to do it if Ben wants to do it. And that's really the key point here is, does he want to do it? It sounds like he does. And Chad says, "Thanks, great show." Thank you. It sounds like you've gone. It sounds like you came and you did your comment and you left.
And don't forget to read your article, Edward. The one you did for Mikey's, that goes through the whole history of it and what your sources told you, what happened at the beginning, in the middle.
Yeah, that article was more about like what's been happening since the beginning of the kind of the idea of doing a Batman film, and then that kind of then there was an idea of a spin-off series as well, and why that never kind of went or happened. And now Mikey's sources are telling him that actually conversations are happening again, which is good news, which is what you want to hear. Right, let's go into some more comments before we bring in our guest. He's patiently waiting. Kazakhs, yeah.
Cocaine.
That's for you, Kaz.
There you go, Kaz. Right, who else do we have in the comments? We have in Canada we have Crave. There you go. So this is something. You don't have HBO Max in Canada?
No, we have Crave. Which
that's crazy.
You have to pay a subscription for Crave, and then you have to pay on top of that for the HBO Max stuff and movies. Like, you get some HBO Max shows and some Showtime, but you have to pay on top for the movies. So, and we got it. We got a subscription just for Zack Snyder's Justice League. Yeah. And it renewed last month. I'm like, okay, I'll keep it because I'm going to wait to see if there's any news going to drop about the Snyderverse. But nothing has dropped yet. And I'm kind of thinking, I know I'm not supposed to cancel it if I want to support the Snyderverse, but at the same time, we don't watch it. I mean, we watch John Oliver on Sundays. Yeah. And that's about it. And there's no Ray Donovan out now, right? So I'm not, won't be watching that.
There are a couple of new HBO series that are quite good. There's the one with Kate Winslet that's on at the moment.
Yeah, but I only have time to watch so many, and there's already just a few that I watched, and I'm happy with that. and I can catch John Oliver's monologues and stuff on YouTube after.
On YouTube, yeah. But also, what I was going to ask you is, so you have to pay extra for the movies?
Yeah.
So
it's in a package. Like you pay like an extra like $7 or $10 or something.
Okay, so does that mean you're going to get to see Mortal Kombat then?
Oh, is it on HBO Max?
Yeah, it's HBO Max.
Oh, nice. Yeah, then I'll be watching it.
Actually, is it not? Is it not HBO Max?
I don't know. Let me check.
I thought it was HBO. It probably isn't actually. it probably isn't. I need to check that out actually.
I'm looking right
I
now.
thought it was, maybe not. It was Godzilla was their last, like Godzilla versus Kong was their
HBO
last
Max.
big one.
It's HBO Max. That's fine. Yeah, then I'll be watching that. That's okay. But I mean, not really interested in Godzilla versus Kong because I'm a big fan of the old movies, and I watch the new ones, and we've had this discussion, right? So,
well, I mean, yeah, like I completely. I mean, we have talked about a bit about that film. I thought it was fine, but it's like
right. There's not enough to pull me into the front door, so to speak, to watch it because I've watched the original ones growing up, and then I watched the one with Matthew Broderick and Hank Azaria. Was it?
Yeah,
and I caught a little bit of
that was absolute. That was a shit show.
Kong Island I watched, and it was a good spectacle film. But
yeah, that was fine.
Special,
Yeah.
So
and that's actually I just checked out. Mortal Kombat is on HBO Max.
Yeah.
So that is on HBO Max.
I'll be watching that, and then I'm not sure. I'll have to see what's coming up. If there was a new season of Ray Donovan, then I totally would keep it for sure.
I haven't watched that show.
Oh man, you're missing out. You gotta watch it. You got he. Oh man, Lee Schreiber, he needs to be back in the Marvel universe for sure.
I don't think he ever will be, though. Unfortunately, yeah. A
I saw some
Sabretooth.
YouTube thumbnail when I was searching for images today for articles that showed Lee Schreiber photoshopped as Wolverine. And
he'd be so good.
He would be amazing, especially if you watch Donovan. So.
Yeah.
Right,
shame. Lords of the Longbox.
I just have one quick question.
Right. So what else do we? I've noticed a lot of people saying it's HBO Max. Yeah. So it is HBO Max. I know. And Ray Donovan is great. Being disabled, I can watch so much TV and films. Donovan is on Showtime here. That's good. That's good. Like, yeah, if it's good, I'll probably check it out now. I've been actually one series I've been watching on Disney Plus is Burn Notice, and I actually quite like that.
I heard that was pretty good. But have you seen? It was the Jack Ryan movie with Ben Affleck.
The Sum of All Fears.
Yeah, have you seen that one?
Yes, that's a good film.
Lee Schreiber was. I mean, Affleck was great in that film, but Lee Schreiber was my favorite part of that movie. Playing the CIA Black Ops kind of. He's amazing in everything.
He's good in everything he's in. Like he's one of those actors that's just very good in everything he's in. So yeah, so he was he's been in so much stuff that I'm forgetting. Like for me, it's always him. I suppose him being Sabretooth was the thing that I remember him most for.
Yeah, Victor
but
Creed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's been in other stuff that's really good too.
He actually just did a film that was about a boxer from New York, I believe, like his life story. It didn't get a lot of press, but I saw it on some streaming service. I think it was Amazon Prime or Netflix.
Yeah,
it was absolutely amazing. I have to look that up. But anyways, anyone in the comments knows if Crave has that documentary yet on Zack Snyder's Justice League, I would love to hear that because Jay here says that we only have ZSJL to watch, and that's pretty much true. But the black and white version is on it too.
Yeah, I can't find the grey version of Justice League anywhere in Europe.
No way.
Like that it's so weird the way they've done it. Like I think I was thinking it might be on Sky, but it's not. So I don't know where to find that, which is really annoying. I've actually bought it twice now. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Liv Schreiber for The Thing. Interesting.
Directed by Robert Rodriguez.
That's a film I would see. That is I noticed someone said that Christopher Nolan should direct Fantastic Four in the comments. Well, that's John Watts, so that's gone. I think if Christopher Nolan were to direct a Marvel movie, I'm pretty sure, as Mikey said, I think a Silver Surfer film would be the best bet for him. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, the documentary's not on there apparently.
That's a shame. That's a shame. Again. Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, Clint. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good. Just going through.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Yeah, and
wow. What can I say?
You see, when when
I never. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
yeah, you did, James.
Yeah.
I'm coming for you. I got a unique set of skills I've acquired over a long career, skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That was good.
Yeah.
And you wonder. How many more of these?
Fucking James.
Fucking James. I will find you and I will kill you.
I will find you and I will kill you. Honestly,
Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of their women.
What does he actually say in that quote? What is he actually saying? All I is
Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of their women.
Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
And adhere the lamentation.
And to hear.
What does that even mean?
We don't want to know. We don't want to discuss that. It's an old movie.
I think I know what it means.
Rape the women, basically. That's what
You're fired.
That's a lovely film.
Rape the horses and steal the women.
Yeah. Oh man, how you doing anyway? Hopefully I can have a conversation with you.
Yeah, man, I'm doing great. I've had a crazy morning. My neighbor behind me decided to dig a pool today. So there's a giant tractor and it sounds like a jackhammer outside my window. So I had to jump in my car and drive across town. Luckily I got a buddy that had some he's like, "Yeah, dude, the upstairs is open, man. Go set up there." So I brought my camera and all my stuff.
Oh my god, seriously?
Yeah, man. If I say I'm gonna be somewhere, I'm gonna be there. So I'm
incredible.
Yeah, man. So so then I'm gonna go back tonight, drive back across town and set up back again at my place and get ready for my stream later on tonight. So but I'm glad to be here. I'm glad I made it.
Can I show that clip you sent me?
Yeah, go for it if you want. It's loud. You'll see how loud it is. Yeah, so and I read a bunch of your articles this morning, Edward. You've been busy, been cranking them out.
Well, this is kind of my MO, what I'm good at really, is just cranking out a lot of articles. But one's I mean, we have been trying to do a different sort of thing because we have writers now as well, so freelancers as well, that they do mainly features. So there aren't that many people that do news. So I like to make sure that all the news is covered. So small screen is populated, well populated.
Get out!
I was when I was in the backstage.
This is what's happening inside my window.
At 7:30 in the morning, man.
Yeah,
that's
World
War
War with a
III.
paintball gun.
I was angry at that point, but I was trying to have fun with it. I was like, it is what it is, man. We got to figure this out. But yeah. But yeah, I was going to say a minute ago about the you were talking about Mortal Kombat being on HBO Max. If you notice, it was supposed to be out on the 16th, and they pushed it back. I'm pretty sure they pushed it back a week because they wanted it to be outside the 30 days of the Snyder Cut. So because then otherwise you're getting a 3-for-1. You're getting Snyder Cut, you're getting King Kong, and you're getting Mortal Kombat. No, we need to keep subscribers for an extra month. You know?
Yeah.
It pushed it back for a week. I'm pretty sure that's why they did.
Yeah, no, it's definitely why they did it.
Yeah,
like to be honest, if you look at their release schedule, it's kind of stupid. I'm going to be honest, because
amongst other things,
yeah, like they're too squashed together. Like I remember that weird graph that they released, or Variety released, and they were claiming that this big upsurge was because of Godzilla versus Kong, but like the beginning of that was Zack Snyder's Justice League. So I'm just like, yeah, you got like what was it, 2 weeks, a week, not even between the two.
Yeah,
releasing that's I mean that you wouldn't do that if you're releasing in cinemas, so you shouldn't really do that on a streaming service either.
They were probably just front loading it, like, dude, we got to just entice as many people to sign up as possible. It's probably what they were trying to do. Once they said, okay, we got a few subscribers, so let's back this down, back it up a little bit.
But it's really
crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of their women.
He says that word wrong. That's why I'm a bit. He says lamentation.
The lamentation of the women.
It's lamentation. It's a T, mate.
Lamentation of the women.
I was talking to Arnie then.
I've seen you before. You're the asshole on TV.
Yes, Reese. That's very funny. PTSD inducing mornings. PTSD inducing mornings.
This is what's happening outside my window.
I'm getting all the real estate of that clip I can.
Dude, I hadn't even had coffee yet at that point. That was a rude awakening.
That's horrible. That, honestly, like I suppose that in Texas you kind of need a pool. So
but the interesting thing about Texas, in Central Texas where I live, is the ground is just limestone. It's just rock, so you can't just dig a hole. It's really tough. So that there are no basements. If somebody says that they have a basement in Austin, they're either super rich or they're liars, because there are no basements in Texas.
So that's is that true? That's
Elon's probably got a basement. But.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Elon has a couple of basements.
Yeah.
Probably don't want to go into Elon's basement.
I've had enough. Get out.
So you got the sax god asking if you're in Dallas. Are you in Dallas?
No, I'm in Austin.
Austin, yeah.
Yeah. He's
in the. I mean, there are lots of friends of the show, I think, in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I suppose one thing I wanted to talk to you about was did you get a chance to? I suppose no one's caught the AT&T Investors presentation, because it's not a presentation, it's a call. Right. They had within. But did you hear anything about what came out of this?
I heard some streams of some other channels, and they were talking about they didn't want to release numbers. That's what I heard. That's the big drama is that they're not, and everyone's saying, dude, if they're not being transparent and releasing numbers, there's a reason. Any chance you get to make yourself look good, you're going to do that. And if your numbers are good, you're going to be like, see, look, we're doing great. But if they're being quiet, like, we're not gonna get into that number sharing every month. We'll let you know later on next quarter or whatever. There's something's a little weird going on.
Don't you think this is one of the really stupid and weird things about this whole streaming game? Is the only way we know about the numbers is if they tell us. Whereas with like cinematic releases, you know almost immediately how well or badly a film is doing. You got Box Office Mojo that is like keeps that is on top of that, and it's information that's released publicly. They really should be just releasing this information publicly, shouldn't they?
I don't remember if these numbers are correct, but it's like there's 2.7 million HBO Max subscribers, and there's like 20 million Disney. It's like way off. You know what I mean? And granted,
Disney's almost 100 million, I think.
I think in this last quarters was what I heard, and it was just like, wow, in the last 2 months, the new signups has been like 20 million new signups for Disney and something like that. And so, and again, I might be off fudging the numbers a little bit. This is something I heard. But it's crazy. And of course, Disney's got crazy content with cult followings. You got Star Wars and Marvel. That's something big to fight with. It's a shame they're not using DC like they should, because DC's got such a huge fan base. It's like, you have your property, just do it, man. Put this Batman thing out. If the internet is going crazy, you're a fool not to be pushing that. You know what I mean? Like, what are you waiting for?
But that's the thing is they think that the DC fandom is toxic, and it's like they've made that very clear in the Ann Sarnoff, or at least she did in her Variety interview. Well, you're pretty much
win-win situation.
They're toxic. Their toxic money spends. You think, you think that Star Wars toxic fan base doesn't spend money and doesn't watch stuff? Like, I mean, there's pretty much anything, whether you're talking about politics or movies or any genre, pretty much anything on the internet is going to have toxic people. Period.
Yes, exactly.
Jesus Christ, James.
Yeah, but that's because Sax God's leaving, so he left the stream. But he's
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I was
like
looking
Clint was
for
talking for about
break in
5
there
minutes into
before he
that.
left. Yeah, you were still talking. I felt so bad.
That was like the Academy Award music they play to shut up. They're like, okay, let's wrap it up.
But you're completely right. It's like they shouldn't really see fandom as being toxic. Also, especially like when they pay money for this, they pay good money for this sort of stuff. So I mean, also I think calling them toxic, like just branding the whole fandom as toxic, is wrong anyway. You shouldn't do that. And it's what they did. It's disrespectful because they are your fans. There is a small number of people that will do things the wrong way. But to be honest, as far as I mean, I actually think the Star Wars fandom's worse than the DC fandom. I mean, being a Star Wars fan myself.
Me too. They're pretty bad. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Take their money. That's what you do. Come on.
But literally, and also like Star Wars is constantly course correcting because of the fandom to a certain way. And Dan Zig here says the fans are toxic, but our money not. But our money not right. Okay, but our money is not right, kind of thing. Yeah, and yeah, that's true. And I do think you were kind of spot on with your numbers there. So HBO Max in the first quarter's added 2.7 million subscribers. That's almost as much as Netflix, actually, interestingly enough. So the numbers are pretty good, right? And considering that it's only based in like. Well, the number of subscribers they can get is limited because they're only available in certain areas at the moment, whereas Netflix is everywhere. But again, if you got 200 million plus subscribers, how many more people can you really get? It's a lot.
I also heard them say something about combining. I don't know that those numbers are combined, but that in the future maybe that they're just going to give you HBO numbers and including regular HBO and HBO Max together.
Yeah. That was what they did. So it's HBO and HBO Max adds 2.7 million subscribers. They didn't specify how many of that was HBO, how much of that was HBO, and how much of that was HBO Max. So
that's the trick. That's how you inflate. That's how you inflate your numbers. You're like, okay, we'll just slide this thing in there and not tell specifics.
Yeah, exactly. They really, honestly, they'll do anything to make themselves look good, especially in front of their investors. Which is the whole thing is like, and I did see a bit of Sill's stream earlier, and he was trying to say that this investors presentation was kind of showing that there is hope for the Snyderverse. Honestly, I saw it as the opposite. But I mean, I completely respect his opinion on that. But as far as I was concerned, they barely mentioned any. Well, the film they really mentioned was Godzilla versus Kong.
From what I understand, they barely mentioned Warner Brothers, and it was only like 20 minutes of the meeting. And when you really look at the scope, the size of AT&T and all their acquisitions and the debt that they have, it's like hundreds of billions of dollars. It's a lot of money. So you're looking at Warner Brothers. That's just one little sliver of what they have going on. I mean, there's a lot going on with that company. So it makes sense that maybe they only talk about it for a little bit. If they had a huge win, they would have probably talked about it for a little bit longer.
Yes.
But yeah.
And this actually very nicely, Clint. This is why we bring you on the show, because you're very good at this. Segue me into the article that we published. This is yesterday now, about Warner Media's plans for DC films. So basically, you said it in a nutshell. It's money. It's all to do with money. So one of the main reasons why Walter Hamada was brought into DC films in the first place to be the president was to be tight on budget. That's literally what he was known for. Like, you look at his the films he made with New Line Cinema, and it was actually very low costing horror movies that made a lot of money. So The Conjuring, Annabelle, Conjuring 2, Lights Out, Annabelle Creation, The Nun. There are some real stinkers there that he was the executive producer of as well. I didn't mention those in the article, but there are some pretty bad films. But basically, he made New Line Cinema a lot of money. And this, you could look at him as kind of New Line Cinema's Blumhouse, like Jason Blumhouse, who's, if you know anything about the horror genre, that's what he's good at, and that's what this guy is good at as well. That's Walter Hamada is very good at this, and this was his whole plan for the DC films. It was specifically what I was told is that. So this is a source. What I can tell you is that the last I heard, Walter wanted to hand almost all of the DC stuff over to BR, so Bad Robot. He continues, said Hamada, wanted them to try and make like their version of the MCU away from Snyder stuff. So this meant letting Abrams and co. come up with a load of new stuff based on pretty unknown IPs. So this is he then went they sorry then went in. I always do that. Then went into specifics about which IPs they were thinking of making. So there are a load of others being talked about that actually sounded pretty cool. Zatanna, which is actually just now confirmed. Black Hawk, The Spectre, The Question, Mr. Miracle. That was very far along actually. Then nothing, and then Midnighter, and that was the one that people were getting very excited about. They were talking of a series that came straight from Bad Robot. We were being told that Justice League Dark was the big one for BR and Hamada that would really kick things off. The Ellis Superman movie would have linked into that series, and then would have made other stuff linked to that series too. So this is where the whole Marvel formula comes in. They wanted it all be linked. Shows lead into movies, movies lead into shows. Walter Hamada also wanted to keep costs down. We used to get told that all the time. This really came from the top. So Walter and Jason Emmerich, sorry, no, not Emmerich. I put that Keeler. That's meant to be Keeler. That's me. Sorry, there's a mistake in it. It's meant to be Keeler. They both wanted to keep costs to a minimum. Used to tell us this was the key in keeping DC things alive and our salaries paid. Money is a huge problem for Warner Brothers and DC Films. HBO has connected that to that too. They're feeling the pinch. So that's what my source had to say, and I will go in and alter that mistake there because it's Jason Keeler, it's Toby Emmerich, Jason Keeler. Right. What do you make of that, Clint?
At least you didn't misspell Casey Blois, Chief Content Officer for HBO. I'm just kidding. I have to say that every show. I think it's cool that they have. I mean, dude, DC has so many random people. When you're talking about doing second string characters and bringing them to the screen, I mean, like just Polka Dot Man is, that's so random. That's like, there's a lot of deep cuts. Yeah, I have a friend that makes fun of DC all the time. He's like, what do they got? Like Hammer Man and Remote Control Man, and Spray Paint Man and Matter Eater Lad, and it's like
Arm Fall Off Boy.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many random things, but I mean, I think that's what they should just make some good movies with some unknown characters. They can write them up any way they want. There's no expectation. Like, keep doing your anchor movies like Batman and Wonder Woman and all those that are the big ones. But instead of trying to limit the length of your films, make a good film, and maybe you'll hit a home run like Ant-Man, where it's like, hey, that's a deep cut, but people fell in love with this character. And I guess that's what they're trying to do. And I guess that's why they got Walter Hamada, and he's going to watch budgets and hopefully do something like that. But I wish they would, get on with it. And I guess, I guess that's what they're trying to do. We've been in a pandemic, but easy for me to say. I'm some guy from Austin, Texas, but still,
Yeah. And that's very much the impression I was getting, was that that Hamada's whole plan, and it is, because he's still there, is to really lean on lesser known IP and make something for as little money as possible, but something that will do as well as possible. And he's really putting all of that into Bad Robot. And this will all be. I mean, they have given them a lot of money. Like, I think it's the deal was for. So for the first, I think it would be Justice League Dark and the Superman movie. I think that's a 500 million budget they've given them for those two things, which is quite a lot.
Yeah.
It is quite a lot. But we're talking about a new Superman movie, and like the Justice League Dark series seems, to be honest, pretty cool. But the problem is that they've really, I think they've put their faith in the wrong person, the wrong people. So let's say, I mean, how well has Hamada really done before? How has he really proven himself up until this point as an executive producer? I mean, The Conjuring is his big thing. That was his big thing. Like, that's pretty good. The Conjuring 2 did pretty well. But it's these films, they're not like breaking the mold in any way. They're nothing new. He's literally he's copying Blumhouse. That's what Stop. That is horrific.
Dude, that is the worst clip that you've ever played.
That's the second worst clip you've ever.
No. Oh boy.
This is Hamada's nightmare timeline. So anyway, what it looks like is that the idea. I mean, this is also said in Ansonov's interview. Was the idea was to make more movies and interconnected with TV shows, so they can bring those onto HBO Max and then have, and basically copy the Marvel formula, which they're now doing over with Disney Plus and the MCU shows. And they're really looking into their lesser known IP. I mean, the ones mentioned there, they are pretty deep cuts, to be honest. The ones my source mentioned was the Black Hawk, Zatanna. To be honest, I'd never heard of Zatanna before the movie. I think there's a movie was announced. The Spectre, The Question. So the Spectre, I think, had a movie. I think they did do a movie. The Question, Mr. Miracle. So I know Mr. Miracle. I know The Question. I know The Spectre as well. And then Midnighter is someone I wasn't familiar with at all. And apparently
I don't know half of these people you're talking about.
He is so badass from The Authority. And it's amazing.
Well, this is you were really excited, weren't you, when I sent you this? And you were like, "Oh,
when
Midnighter."
I read about Midnighter, yeah. I was like, hot damn, that's gonna be great. So really quickly, the way his brain was rewired and all the implants he has in him, he basically thinks of every outcome before a fight.
Okay.
So basically, like if Doctor Strange went through all the scenarios before each fight, that's exactly what Midnighter is.
Ah, interesting. Yeah. So it sounds like a good concept for a show.
Yeah, cool. And he's basically like he was Wildstorm's answer to Batman, but not like a carbon copy, but more so like it was their Batman. Then his boyfriend was Apollo, and he was the Superman of that universe. So,
oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So what to me, it really does seem like they are looking into their back catalog more and trying to move away, if anything, from Batman. That was the kind of impression I got. Away. I mean, even though they're doing this Calvin Ellis Superman film, I mean, we've also got the Batman with Robert Pattinson. So I think that they're looking more at like how the MCU managed to set itself up with a pretty unknown character at the time, Iron Man, and maybe try and do the same thing. What do you think?
I think, I mean, they should pay the light bill with Batman movies every couple of years, and then just experiment and do something else, and let everything else be cohesive. If it was anything like the Greg Berlanti stuff, that's all related. Like all the CW stuff that's out there. It's cool. You get spin-off shows, and they're related, and they do crossovers and stuff. They could do the same thing on the screen or with streaming shows too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mikey in the comments says Black Hawks was first optioned by Spielberg in 1982. I've been waiting ever since. That I knew about that. I knew that Spielberg was going to do a but actually relatively recently as well, they were talking about Spielberg doing a Black Hawk film. So, I mean, that one is probably something that's just been in the pipeline for quite some time. I mean, Midnighter was really the one that was mentioned to me as being the one that people are really getting excited about. Big Daddy C says, "Can we stop with the stupid clips?" If we stop with the stupid clips,
but wait, there's more.
Okay, if we start with the stupid clips, it means I have to fire my producer. I'm not willing to do that because he is. It gives the show something else, And DLW says the clips grow on you. It's difficult sometimes doing the show with the clips. I'm going to be completely honest with you. If you're in the middle of a rant,
what?
If you're in the middle of a rant and James comes up with one, you get used to it though. You do get used to it, don't you, Clint?
Sure. I like that. It turns into inside jokes, which is fun.
Yeah, that's the whole point. But no, I mean this was again an article that I've been doing quite a few of these because I'm quite lucky because I know some people that have been directly involved with HBO Max in the UK or HBO trying to get HBO Max over into the UK, and I've the stories they've been telling me are kind of bonkers, but this one was a bit more hopeful in a weird way because I saw this and I was like, okay, so there is some sort of plan going on. Again, money is tight, and I keep on that is something that keeps on coming up. Again, money. You know, it really is a problem, and the main reason why Walter is there is trying to sort out the money issues. But who knows? In the long run, it does to me. Honestly, I'm going to be completely honest with everyone here. It does look like to me that the Snyderverse is dead, and that is really. And I hate to say that because I really don't want it to be. But that's just the impression I'm getting as far as the executives at Warner Brothers are concerned.
I kind of got that impression from there was a Zack Snyder, Chris
The Justice Con.
Yeah, the interview that he did at the end, they asked him about it, and he kind of it felt to me like he was kind of saying he was weird about answering the question. It kind of felt like he was saying, I love the fans for pushing, and as long as they're fighting, I'm going to. I'm paraphrasing what I interpreted from what, but he's like, as long as they're fighting, I'm going to. But honestly, like with him, he's got other stuff going on. He's got other jobs going on. He's got other money. He's not he doesn't need to do it for the money. And I feel like he appreciates the fan base. And I think he kind of said, you know, if they ask me to make another movie, I'll do it. You know what I mean? Like, but it's, at this point, it's out of loyalty to the fans who have had his back for so long. So, but yeah, I don't know what's going to happen either. You know, I'm always pushing for hope, you know, like Batman. Hey, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I mean, honestly, I really would love to see him get to do it more, but like that what he said was, it was kind of like saying, like, I would love it to happen, but you know.
It was. It's like you if you watch it was the very end of the interview, and I got that feeling too. It's like it's like he stopped himself every time he was going to answer the question, and he was trying to find the right way to word it, and he was kind of, I don't know, you kind of have to read between the lines on that.
Yeah, exactly. Let's have a look in the comments, see what people are saying, because they've got a lot of stuff.
Plus, he's got to go direct the Patch movie for Marvel, so you know he's gonna have his hands full.
What was the film? Mikey said Ghost Rider. That was the film that Mikey.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. That'd be pretty cool. I'd definitely see a Zack Snyder Ghost Rider movie. Right, let's go into comments. Let's see what people are saying. You can't fire James. This is his show. Who says that, Reese? Reese, what? No, it's not a great user experience, to be honest. What are you talking about? The show or? I was once like you, says Sassafras. That's a name I've managed to say over the years. Eds, do you think the UK will eventually get HBO Max? Yes, eventually. Now, whether or not, I think let's wait until 2023. I think that's when the deal runs out with Sky Atlantic. Sky Atlantic. So it's a long time, but you know, hopefully they'll sort that out. Again, what I've been told is that it's been a mess, and it's a lot of contracts were signed, and it's difficult to get out of those contracts. So that's something they're trying to work out now. Tutulani says the issue with Hamada's strategy is that it's making money, but not the kind of money that hits home runs. So yeah, actually, you've got a point. It's kind of smaller budget things that make smaller amounts of money, but don't make the huge amounts of money that, like, say, technically a Batman versus Superman should be making, or a Justice League should be making. Or I mean, to be honest, I do think the Batman, I think that will make a lot of money. I've got just a feeling about that film that it'll make a lot of money. Also, I also think Black Adam will make a lot of money at the box office. But yeah, I think the main thing for them at the moment is trying to kind of build a base that they can just keep on growing, and then just more and more content, and it be all interlinked, and just hopefully be good. That's something that we really want, I think. I mean, I hope so anyway, that it's going to be. I mean, Bad Robot is a company that I'm not very optimistic about them, to be honest. Everything they've made for me hasn't been brilliant. Like I like J.J. Abrams' films, but everything he makes is a pastiche of a Spielberg movie. That's what I always get, and I'm just like, how many Spielberg films do we need?
I'm okay with making a bunch of okay movies. Give me a whole bunch of content, like just a ton of them, or a ton of shows that's decent, you know, and then occasionally hit a home run. That's cool too.
Yeah. I think the idea is to make good stuff, and like I think that's the idea, and to make it cheap. You can never get good stuff out of it. I mean, sometimes you can make like an incredible movie with barely any money, but they're very rare. So mostly they tend to be terrible. The films that are made for no money. Greetings, troglodytes.
I just have one quick question.
You were going to say?
I was going to say, do you think the haircut thing's going to happen? What's your feeling on that?
I think they'll release it on HBO Max. I think. But again, yes, Warner Brothers is afraid. As I said before, I think I said it in a previous article that one of the big things about the haircut is it really does show. It does show up the Warner Brothers executives like more than anything else in a weird way, because that film was ready to go, was done. And they made such a rash decision to just re-edit the film completely. Have a company that makes trailers re-edit the bloody film, which is just insane. It's completely insane. And then the film that came out was absolute shite. So,
but it's done from what I understand. So I think the people over here, Chief Content Officer Casey Blois, I think he might say, "Hey, this is good for me. I'm not worried about Hamada Burger over there. I'm worried about HBO Max. And if you have something that's just ready to release, why the hell wouldn't you? You know, that's what I think.
I think AT&T would want it released because
that's what I mean.
It's no skin off their nose. They don't have to pay any money to get it released, I don't think.
And they'll get more subscribers out of the thing. So,
Well, again, would they though? Because they probably get subscribers returning. And
they're gonna all the people that canceled after the Snyder cut, that wasn't worried about Mortal Kombat. They're like, oh, whatever. Those people will come back for the haircut.
I mean, yeah, I think they will.
If they announced the haircut, I'd keep my Crave subscription for sure.
Well, then they got to do that just for that.
Yeah. Can you read this exchange before we get into Big Daddy C's questions?
Go on. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, no, let me.
Bye, James. James can play that nightmare clip again and make you submit the channel. What does that mean?
I think that means subscribe.
Okay, subscribe. All right. We get 42 likes. I'll play the clip again. What clip are you talking about? The really horrible one that we hated. Everyone likes the stream. Reese says, "Okay, yeah, that's lovely. Thank you very much. Everyone likes the stream."
No, you butchered. You said everyone liked the stream.
Because
he wants that clip.
I'm tired.
So bad.
What clip does he want? To begin with, that sounds like a bass line starting. and then that's a terrible clip. I don't want that again on the show. I'm going to put my foot down on that one. He's going to play it again, I know. Big Daddy sees. So, do we actually know if Zach has sat down with HBO and spoken about continuing on? I know he's been looking at cheaper tech options, like what they use on The Mandalorian. Remember, Zach is always reserved with that stuff. He keeps things close to his chest. So, he has sat down with HBO specifically. So people at HBO Max, he sat down with them, definitely. And yeah, he would definitely be open to trying to find cheaper ways to make the movie or series or whatever they want to do moving forward. The problem again is it's not HBO. The problem is it's really Warner Brothers here. And apparently Clint needs help. So I mean, honestly though, like there is a way that he could do it for less money. There definitely is a way he could do it for less money, but ultimately it really is it's up to a bunch. There are so many different variables that are going on. If AT&T can come in and say, you know what, let's do it for however much, let's say we'll give you 100 million to make a Justice League 2, you would think that's barely any money, and really for a film that a Justice League 2 would be. But I'm pretty sure they could do it somehow. The Mandalorian has definitely changed things moving forward. Again, I'm not sure whether Warner Brothers has access to that sort of tech at the moment. I think that's a Disney kind of thing, isn't it? It's a company. I can't remember the name of the company that does that. but I think that might be a bit tricky at the moment. Now, probably like in 5 years' time, it'll be ubiquitous, and I'm pretty sure everyone will be using it. So maybe then we could do something there. Like they could do something there. But what do you think, Clint? Oh, Clint. Your mic's off. No, it's not. It's not going. Oh dear. Say something now, Clint.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. I was saying exactly the same thing, man. That is Disney's gear. That's the thing with the. Did you mute me for the?
Clint, the audience is badass today.
Yeah, they're good. They're always badass. I'm usually in the audience with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you flash forward 5-10 years, everyone's going to have that kind of gear with the LCD screens. Just if you watch the behind the scenes, I'm sure you've seen it, but the behind the scenes of the Mandalorian making, it's amazing to go from doing green screen to all of a sudden actually having LCD screens. A huge thing, and what's so cool about it is the light that those LCDs put off. They don't even have to mess with actual lighting the way that they used to do it. It actually puts daylight off. If it's daylight scene back there, it's super interesting. So if anybody's not seen that, they should go check that out. I mean, that's a big trick, is finding cheap ways to make good content, and for us as YouTube people, and for big studios. So I think it was really smart. I mean, Disney's always on the cutting edge of everything they do, you know what I mean? But I think Warner Brothers needs to catch up, man.
We are looking at I'm looking at the comments, and that people are bringing up this ILM, so that do do this. It's called the Volume, and Disney. It's not owned by Disney. I knew that, but I was just thinking: do Disney have some sort of exclusivity deal with them at the moment? Because they seem to be the only ones using that tech, like Lucasfilm specifically.
Yeah, and
so I don't know.
I could tell you they're booked up on shooting. They're filming all kinds of stuff. So, there's so much Star Wars stuff that's in production right now. Warner Brothers would have a hard time getting in there.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? That they've made sure that they're doing all of their things using that tech, like Lucasfilm specifically. So Zach has visited the Volume, which is called. And I think he did do. Yeah, we got it in the comments, haven't we? People saying that he talked about that at JusticeCon. So, and he's tested the equipment. So he definitely sees that as a future, and it really is. That is the future. I mean, I think the Mandalorian has really changed the game as far as like making things like it looks incredible. The Mandalorian looks incredible, and it's done for not really a fraction, but it's done very, very cheap compared to what it would be having to do those sorts of things on location. That would just blow the budget up enormously having to do that. So Justice League 2, let's say in a couple of years' time, if they get that all sorted out and start using ILM tech, then it could bring down the budget by a lot, and then we could start talking about the Snyderverse continuing. But I really do think as it stands at the moment, DC Films in particular is really focusing on the Hamadaverse.
ILM is owned by Lucasfilm, and Disney acquired it when they acquired Lucasfilm. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's Industrial Light and Magic, and Lucas has been messing with that for a long time.
So that's really that would be a bit difficult for Warner Brothers to pull off, wouldn't it? I think. I mean, who knows? Maybe in the future that there will be other companies that pop up and start doing. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're already working on it at the moment, but it's all done in a game engine, isn't it? I can't remember the name of the
almost like a VR, where it's like it's really cool. Like when they're moving around, it's like a video game. It's really neat.
It's I'm forgetting. Like, if Freddie's in the comments, my brother, he'll know who it is. It's the name of, I can't remember now. I can't off the top of my head. Unreal Engine. That's it. The Unreal Engine. There we go. Kazak's coming up for me. And Freddie says, he's on the ball. Unreal Engine. That's what it is. And it's just, like looking at the behind the scenes stuff and the Mandalorian, it's just so cool what they can do with this stuff. And imagine what the DC universe could do using that sort of stuff as well. Like, I mean, it's going to be interesting moving forward for these TV shows as well, these DC TV shows, because I'm not sure if you've seen, but there's a lot of stuff. And incidentally, the clips are warming on Big Daddy C. So that's
one of us, one of us, one of us.
One of us! One of us!
That's a good clip. Now that is a good clip. Yeah, so I can't even remember what I was saying. Yeah, actually, I'm not. Yeah, you probably saw on small screen today the news that there are problems with the Arrowverse. Some of the Arrowverse stars are threatening to leave the CW because of what's been going on.
Dominic Purcell? Is that who you're talking about?
Okay, so that what? Yeah, James, you obviously don't read the articles on small screen.
No. I'm too busy making thumbnails and getting everything ready.
So basically what happened was Dominic Purcell, who plays Heatwave in DC Legends of Tomorrow, was did this massive post where he basically called out, like he shat all over the studio, and he was like, you know, they don't care about actors, you know, calling out the other actors, saying look after the young ones because the studio, there's no such thing as loyalty in this business. And then people, I read that and I was like, oh shit, like he is pissed off. and then everyone is like, okay, he quits. And then he deleted the post and put up another one saying journalists coming up with clickbait articles. It was a joke. And I was like, dude, did you that was not a joke what you wrote. You were serious. Like everything in caps, very poorly written, actually, man. I think Dominic Purcell needs to learn how to write properly. But
I'm pretty sure that guy had some whiskey and got fired up and got on his phone and then woke up later with a headache with 5 missed calls from his publicist and agent and had to fix it. I'm pretty sure that's what I mean. I don't know, but that guy also, I've heard he's a really nice guy, but he also looks like he doesn't take any crap. So I feel like he reminds me of some friends of mine that after a 12-pack or a bottle of whiskey would do something like that. So that's just a theory. I'm not accusing him of drinking or whatever, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
But yeah, and Danzig says that was amazing backpedaling by Dominic, award-worthy. Yeah, he said it was a prank. He said it was a prank, and I was like, that was no fucking prank. That was you getting really pissed off because obviously they just probably weren't paying him the amount they wanted he wanted to get paid. And now it looks like a bunch of actors, like we already had Ruby Rose leave as Batwoman, and everyone was like, why did she leave? People coming up with stories about her being difficult on set and those stories leaking. And now we're getting this. And honestly, like the CW to me, like their DC stuff, I honestly think is dying. Like I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Warner Brothers just says, let on DC Films, let's just put everything on HBO Max in the future, like make them all like bad robot TV shows that we want, like the Justice League Dark stuff and the things that my source was talking about, the Midnighter stuff, and whatever they're doing, and just let the CW just basically die.
I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. I mean, it was they're going to do Peacemaker on series on HBO Max. I'm pretty sure this stuff is fizzling out. The only saving grace for them is the Superman and Lois that's out, because it's actually a good show, and it's done well. But yeah, Legends of Tomorrow. I
hate you, Dad. I love you, Dad.
me and my buddy Dirk from Black Shirt Podcast, we have an ongoing joke where we talk about the other shows, and then anytime Legends of Tomorrow comes up, we're like, "Is that show still on the air?" We're like, "Yeah." We're like, "Yeah," and Dirk's like, "Yeah, this is like their 15th season. What the hell?" It's like, how are they still in there? And I love all of the characters on there. It just somehow they managed to make just a meh show, and which sucks for all the great actors on there. But anyway, I don't know, man. I think you're right. I think they're going to taper off of that. And I know that the Berlanti contract, I think in 2018, he signed a contract for something like $14 million. I mean, not 14, $400 million. Yeah. And at the time, he had 14 shows that were all on the air at the same time, which was like a record. Yeah. The guy's doing great things, but I think his contract comes up in 2024, and I have a feeling by that point we're going to be getting most of the DC content on HBO Max, like you said.
And he's already doing the Green Lantern series, and that's going to come to HBO Max. So that I think that to me, when that was announced, being like Greg Berlanti doing the Green Arrow, the Green Lantern series, and that's going to HBO Max, I was like, well, the CW's dead then. Like literally, the DC universe and the CW. That can't really continue without Berlanti. And we already saw when Berlanti started kind of losing interest in some shows, that the quality of those shows really dipped, like seriously dipped. Like Arrow was good for like the first 3 seasons, and then I couldn't watch it after that. The Flash kind of stayed okay. Like it's still decent. DC Legends of Tomorrow. I think I watched the first season and I was like, yeah, this is not for me.
They kind of changed places. Like Arrow would start to suck and the Flash would be really good, and then it would go the other way. It was good. I even liked Supergirl for a long time. Was really good. I enjoyed that show. And then it kind of started to take a dump.
And then I've tried watching Batwoman. And that is terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Like that is just terrible. and I really do. I do think that it's kind of it just feels aged. It feels like it's kind of old TV. It feels like it's still trying to compete with the Netflix Marvel shows. And now, like you see, like the Marvel shows have really, even though I'm not like massively loving Falcon and Winter Soldier, I still think it's like it's just so much better than so much like the quality and the craft of these shows is so much better than what we were getting before. Even though I think some of the Netflix Marvel stuff was really good, like the Daredevil and the Punisher were just incredible.
You're absolutely right. Daredevil, all those Netflix Marvel shows raised the bar, and then it keeps going up. And both with the Disney Star Wars content, or Disney Plus Star Wars content, and these new Marvel shows, the quality keeps going up. So when you go back and you watch a CW show, now it looks like 90s Power Rangers shows.
Yeah.
Even with the choreography, it's like that's what it reminds me of, and it's kind of funny, and you see Arrow fighting a bunch of ninjas. You know what I mean?
It really does feel like Red Power Rangers.
Yeah, it makes me feel like a little kid. But when if you stack that next to the quality that all of these other shows, they're doing movie quality stuff as TV shows now, and that's hard to compete with.
Just in the choreography alone, like if you see like some of the fight sequences in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, especially like the last one with between the three of them, between Captain America, John Walker, Sam, and Bucky, that fight, I actually thought that was really well choreographed, and it could have very easily gone into what I call the CW kind of stuff, which is like a poorly lit, like it takes place at night, lots of people like just doing unnecessary flips. And it's like, and honestly, after a while, I think after like 3 seasons of Arrow, I was just like, I'm okay, that's me done. Like it's always the same.
It's badass. Even the scene where they came to get Zemo with the staff, they put the staff through the shield, and it was awesome. All of the fighting on that show has been great. Sorry, James, what were you going to say?
No worries. The fight scene between Walker and Bucky and Falcon was very reminiscent of Iron Man versus Cap.
Yes.
And Bucky.
Yeah.
A lot of shades there. Yeah,
and I just think I mean, of course, they're really taking these shows to another level. I think that even though I have my problems, most of my problems are story based with a lot of these shows, and like again, I do think a lot of people's problems with these shows is the fact that they're released weekly, which means that you get enough time to come up with your own theories. And when your theories don't end up happening, then you just get pissed off. And I think that's a lot of the problem with WandaVision was that people were coming up with all sorts of theories, and then it was never going to, they were never going to be what they wanted them to be in the end.
That's just the toxic crybaby internet getting mad because they're not getting their way. You know what I mean? That's all it is.
There is an element of that. I think you're right, but there's also, I mean, it's kind of understandable because, especially with WandaVision, things were teed up that just you think, what, like really, like the whole and like space engineer, whatever the hell that character was supposed to be, and everyone was like, oh my god, they're going to bring in Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards or something, which it really that
or fits from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a good
then,
theory, though. That was a good theory. I would have.
Yeah, it was a good theory, and it made sense. And then the character they brought in was like nobody knew who she was.
Yeah, it's become a different recipe for storytelling.
Yes.
because it's a weekly thing, a serial. You know, it's a weekly serial that's coming out, where we're used to movies that you know, they're going to release this, and then you get the post-credit scene that gets us hyped up for the next thing that's a year down the road. But it's this. They're trying to keep people to subscribe. They're trying to keep people coming back every week. And
now Netflix is going to change the model for that.
Maybe, well, maybe they will, but it's
they are. They're going to start releasing episodes weekly. That's the small screen exclusive.
It makes it, and I'm all about binging, man. That bums me out to hear that, but it makes it does make it fun to come up with theories, go on, watch your favorite shows, hear other people in the chats talking about the stuff, and everybody like arguing or chiming in on what's going to happen. I think that's exciting, which, by the way, I still think that Isaiah Bradley's going to come up at the last minute and save the day with his superpowers. Maybe John Walker's about to kill Falcon, and he's going to show up and stop him, and then so that's my theory.
Well, let's hope that happens for you.
Let's hope so.
You've been coming up with that one for a couple of weeks now.
Well, we only got one more episode, that hits at midnight tonight. So if I'm wrong, y'all can just make fun of me next time.
And I want to ask you guys a bunch of questions first before we get to Invincible. Okay, Edward, we'll do this quick because I want to go through the DC properties. You guys tell me if you like them or if you didn't like them, if they're good, bad, or okay. All right?
Go ahead. All
okay,
right,
Stargirl, Edward.
Good.
Clint.
What did you say?
Stargirl.
I liked what I saw of it. Yes, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good.
Doom Patrol.
Good.
Edward.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Titans.
Shit.
I liked it.
Even after like season 2?
Season 2 is terrible.
It dipped, but I really want to see Nightwing do something, and so I'm hopeful for the future. I'm actually the guy that likes everything, just so you guys know. Like,
thank you. That's refreshing because I'm the same.
I will find a silver lining in everything, and I enjoyed it.
Thank you. Okay, well, we'll get Peter on the show because he seems to not like a lot of stuff. So
we'll argue, and I'll tell him why he's wrong.
The Flash CW show.
I like the Flash. Yeah, I like the Flash.
But isn't it like? Don't you find it's dragging out now with the teenage drama?
Yes. Yeah, it's really dragging out. But I do like it. I liked it. I liked my time with it to begin with. Like the first 4 seasons.
Yeah,
I did enjoy it. I mean, shows get bad towards the end. I think all of them do.
Okay, Arrow.
I love Arrow.
The first couple of seasons I really liked, and then I kind of didn't like it anymore by the end.
Okay, Superman Lois.
I haven't watched it.
I'm enjoying it.
Okay. What else is there? What am I missing here?
Batwoman. Sorry.
Batwoman. You guys already talked about, right?
Terrible.
Don't like it. I haven't watched that yet.
Yeah, it's a little bit rough.
Don't bother watching Batwoman.
Batman 1960s.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, great.
Adam West Batman.
West Batman. Brilliant. I grew up with that. What do you say?
Super Friends.
Super Friends, yes.
I haven't watched it.
Batman the Animated Series.
Love it.
I didn't watch that.
What?
I was out. I was out touring the world, selling, making rock and roll.
That's right. Okay. Smallville.
I enjoyed it as a kid. Yeah.
Swamp Thing.
I loved Swamp Thing. I liked it. Swamp Thing.
I like the original Swamp Thing film too. When I was a little kid.
Good actually. Yeah, that's good.
Black Lightning.
Yes, was good.
I liked the first season. I haven't watched the second. I think is it 2 seasons?
Yeah, I stopped mid season 2. I think.
I got to right around where his kids got powers.
Right.
And once they jumped in, and that's about where I fell off.
That's in season 1.
And Danzig, I was going to ask this 1990s Flash TV.
Never watched it.
Amazing.
Never watched it.
It's so good.
I was probably in junior high.
Is that the one that Mark Hamill's in?
No, that's the one.
He plays the trickster.
Oh, he is the trickster. Yeah,
he plays the trickster.
He's a
trickster. And John Wesley Shipp plays the Flash.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
and those actors come back in the Flash TV.
Yeah, they're back in the Danzig. Inhumans is a Marvel project. It's terrible. The Inhumans is the worst one.
Okay, Birds of Prey, actually.
The show.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it.
I saw a couple of episodes, and it was okay. It reminded me of a fun B team 90s show.
I've heard people really like the animated Harley Quinn show. So
I've heard it's great.
I heard it's great too, but I mean, like Danielle and I watched like the first 10 minutes, and it just turned us off completely. It was weird. I have to give it another shot. Young Justice.
Young Justice is really good.
Amazing. Did you guys watch the new season that came out like last year?
Not yet. No.
Neither have I. I tried to, but I need to go back and watch the first 2 seasons. So.
Young Justice is so good.
I've not seen Young Justice.
Justice League animated series.
No, I haven't seen that.
What?
No.
All right.
I used to watch Teen Titans, the animated series. That was quite good.
I've never watched that, but
that was all right.
I've seen clips. And The Tick.
The Tick is great. The Tick is so good. Yeah, that's not really that. Sorry?
The animated one or live action?
The animated one.
I watched the live action one. On
Is
Amazon.
that one good?
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah,
the live action one is really good.
But the animated one is great too.
Okay, Danzig has come up with the best one, Batman Beyond. Now, Batman Beyond, I think, is the best. The animated series.
You need to watch Justice League to get the finished episodes of Batman Beyond.
Yeah, I've got to watch them all. Where are they? Are they all on HBO Max though?
They should be. Yeah.
Yeah, they should be.
Yeah, Young Justice is really good. I would say that's probably like for me, my very favorite like Batman movie of all time was Mask of the Phantasm, which is the animated movie. Is so good.
I saw that in the theater, man.
So
really
good,
brilliant.
And that's kind of part of the animated series, like it kind of as a spin-off of that, and it was just the best thing ever. Like, still for me, my favorite Batman film. I just love it, and the end, and it's so quintessential Joker for me. The end and the what's it called, the fun fair. I just thought it was brilliant. Like,
Way to the Dark Knight.
Yeah, I think it's. I think if anything, that like when I release this as a podcast, I think that will freak so many people out. That because it really sounds like, I mean, it's probably something out of one of his horror films. I wonder. I would like to have do an interview with Walter Hamad and ask him really about horror and where, like, if he actually likes the genre or not. Because I have a sneaky suspicion that he doesn't actually like horror.
I don't think he's a big film buff to begin with.
No,
he's just good at it. He's just good at numbers.
Well, do you think so? Honestly, look at his horror films. Do you think The Conjuring's that good?
I mean, I love The Conjuring. Sorry, Clint. I love The Conjuring because it was 70s paranormal kind of film, and it was shot that way. And I used to be into horror when I was a kid or a teenager, but now I just can't watch any horror movies. It doesn't entertain me. But when I saw The Conjuring, I was like, okay, now this suspenseful kind of film, I will dig for sure.
The first one is good. The second one I think is terrible.
Exactly.
And then Lights Out was actually really good. That was the film that David F. Sandberg made. And that was it. But then everything else in that list is just bad. The Nun is bad. Really bad.
Well, the question is he a cinematographer or a sound guy or a cameraman? No. Did The Conjuring make money?
Yeah.
Then he's did a great job. He's good at his job. That's like, he's not a filmmaker or he's not a writer. He's a money guy.
Yeah. I mean, he's an executive producer, and it's like all they do is just like green light budgets, really.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, honestly,
it depends how, like, what position they want to take in that role. I mean, there's some producers that have a lot of creative overseeing.
I mean, there's a difference between producer and executive producer, though. So if he's a producer, then he'll be more hands-on, generally speaking. Executive producers do tend to take a step back and they just tend to be the money people, really. Like, this is generalizing, and you're right, James. There are some executive producers that will take a more hands-on role, with things. But like, I think Walter Hamada is very much a money guy. That's where he comes from. He found, like, he didn't really. I mean, he kind of did find James Wan, because before that, what James Wan's thing was the Saw movies. That he did the first Saw film,
so yeah, but he didn't find him. Like, if he made Saw already, that was like a big box office.
Well, what did James Wan do after Saw?
Is James Wan? He was supposed to do The Trench, right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. And they are very good friends. Him and Walter Hamada and Wan. He was the one that got Walter Hamada involved in the DCEU in the first place, I think.
Did you say he was the one that got?
He was the one. Yeah, he was the one.
He did Dead Silence, Death Sentence, then a video short film called Doggy Heaven.
Yes.
And
so
then
I've seen Dead Silence. It's terrible. I haven't seen Death Sentence. Insidious is fine, but then again, I think Insidious might actually be produced by Walter Hamada. Maybe not.
But you've seen these movies, and I have like no interest in those kind of horror films. You know, I mean, there's a market for it.
I'm a big horror guy. Like, I love horror and anything. Honestly, some of my favorite film of all time is The Thing, and closely followed by Alien. Like, both of them are horror.
Oh yeah, but those are not just horror films. Right, those are actually like cinema. Like, these are like, they are
more like slasher films.
Slasher films, but they're also like made by they're manufactured. That's what I mean. There's not like a cinematic scope to it, like John Carpenter did, right?
Yeah, no, you're totally right. I mean, I think, like, especially in the 80s, that was a period of horror where it was like they were mixing kind of horror with other ideas, with more psychological things going on. Like, look at The Shining, for instance. Like, the stuff that was done in that film was just insane. Like,
yeah, but now we're comparing James Wan to James Cameron, John Carpenter, Stanley Kubrick. You know, I mean,
well, it's not James Cameron. We're not. It's Ridley Scott.
That was Aliens, but like, sorry, Ridley Scott. But see, I know my stuff. Don't worry. But we're not mentioning Prom Night or those are the 80s slasher flicks that were made, like, manufactured, right? Like Halloween
Halloween was the Carpenter film.
Halloween 3 was the best out of them all. And you want to talk about good horror, man? Go watch Phantasm and Phantasm 2 if you haven't seen them.
I haven't seen those.
Oh man, you need to go watch Phantasm 2.
That movie was scary. I was always into like the funny, scary stuff, like Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street, because they were funny. When you got into like real scary stuff, like Phantasm, that creeped me out.
Scary?
When I was a kid, I did. I was like, oh, this is creepy. Like,
well, I thought Michael Jackson's Thriller was scary when I was like,
that was scary. That was scary.
I thought it was badass.
Yeah,
I still want the jacket. Are you kidding me?
Got Dan in the comments saying Ed loves horror. That's why he covered EastEnders for the Express. Yeah, I mean, you might not get that, Clint. EastEnders is a terrible English soap that I used to have to write about when.
And Freddie, we'll talk about Shang-Chi in a minute. We'll just wait for Peter to get here. He's got his thoughts on it too.
We will talk about Shang-Chi, but I suppose let's stay on the subject of DC. I think. Do we have?
We haven't talked about it enough this month. That's for sure.
Yeah, we haven't. I'm thinking we just might move on from DC for the time being, actually, because I don't think there's any more. Oh no, there is the whole thing about Dave Bautista.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Yeah, he Now, I originally wanted to say to call this article, Dave Bautista burst into Warner Brothers' office and demanded them to let him play Bane, but that wasn't quite what happened.
like Kool-Aid Man, he was like, "Oh yeah,
Bane." He just comes in like,
I want to play Bane.
Hello, I want to play Bane. Let me play Bane. No, that was terrible.
Anyway, enough about our balls.
Basically, what he said. This is during JusticeCon. What he said. What Dave Bautista said. He said he wants to play Bane so bad that he went to Warner Brothers, had an appointment with them, had an appointment with DC, walked in the door. Apparently, this is what he said. He walked in the door.
Through.
Said, yeah, mate, it's through. No, he walked in the door. Said, I want to play Bane. I'm not kidding. They were like, they were a little like, whoa, we're not even casting Bane. I was like, I don't care. I'm playing him.
Knock, knock.
That would be in character.
Yes,
Freddie.
yes, sir, Mr. Batista, sir. When would you like to start filming?
Imagine Walter Amada and Sarnoff, like Jason Key, Latte Biemic all in a room, and Dave Batista comes in, walks in the door, and goes, "Let me play Bane." It's like, what?
So that's Jesus, is that true? That's delightful.
Also, he's buddies with Zach from Army of the Dead, so he's like, and also while I'm at it, restore the Snyder Cut,
restore the Snyderverse. Fuck you guys. Like, honestly,
that's what I meant.
One of the things I love about Dave Bautista is, first off, how honest he always is. Like, he's just like, yeah, this happened. And then, secondly, he is so loyal. I mean, look at everything that went on with James Gunn, and he was threatening to leave the MCU. Like, literally, like, no one else can play Drax. Like, in the MCU, no one really. If he were to leave, which he was really threatening to do, I'm pretty sure he was serious about it. Sorry, Dan says, Ed, channel your inner Batista and burst into Feige's office and demand you play Captain Britain. I'll probably be too British about it. I'll be like, can I please, may I play Captain Britain? Thank okay, I'll just leave. But that'll be a very cheerio. Goodbye. Thank you. Very. I'm sorry. I'll literally come in. I'm sorry. That's what we always say. We're just like the Canadians in that respect. We always say sorry.
Canadians say sorry. Sorry.
He's
sorry.
Not saying anything. Yeah. I'll politely knock on Feige's door, and then I'll be politely escorted off the property. But
I'm from Texas. I'd say, hey, y'all, we're
yeah.
I'd ride in on my horse and say, hey, y'all, I want to play Bane. Get her done.
No, but I really do like Dave Bautista, and I actually think out of all the wrestlers that have come out and gone into acting, I think he's by far the best actor out of the lot of them. Don't you think?
I think so. He's great.
He was great in Blade Runner.
Oh, so good. Yeah. He's so good in Blade Runner. What are you going to say, Clint? Go on.
I was just going to say he's got a little bit of nuance in him that it almost doesn't feel like acting. You know what I mean? It's a very natural thing about it, his presence. Some people, it's like, yes, I'm doing the line now. You know what I mean? And like really going for it. He seems it just seems natural.
I really don't think there's anyone else that could play some of the characters. That performance in Blade Runner 2049 was brilliant. He was literally in it for about 5 minutes, and for me, he was very memorable.
He was actually really good in the Escape Plan 3, believe it or not.
Have you seen? I haven't seen that.
Oh man, but Batista knocked that out of the park. Like, he saved that film from what it could be saved for. So
I'm trying to remember the name of that movie with the little girl that blows his cover or whatever. And what the hell was it?
I can't remember.
He pretty much has to take this girl under her wing, sort of. It's like his neighbor he was on a stakeout or something. And it was a good movie.
Stakeout? Is it called Stakeout?
It might be Stakeout. Yeah, it might be. But yeah, it's funny. He's getting owned by this little kid. It's a funny. It's more of a family movie, but
My Spy. That's the film.
It was cute. It was a cute movie.
What about the one he did with the buddy cop film with Kumail
Nanjiani? Yeah, that wasn't very good though. But
really, I enjoyed it. I thought it was great for what it was.
Yeah,
Night Out the movies. You know what I mean?
It was fine. Yeah. But I do think if you're going to look at, like, a lot of people talk about John Cena recently because of the Peacemaker stuff, but I actually think I'm going to be on, and now people aren't going to like me for saying this, but I don't think either of him or The Rock are particularly good actors.
Have you seen Southland Tales?
No.
The Rock was great in that. Yeah, he actually acted. You know,
he was pretty good in Pain and Gain. That was the only film I've seen him in where I was like, oh, actually, he's doing something a bit different in this film.
You should watch Southland Tales. It's by the director of Donnie Darko.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, interesting. But I think in everything he's in, he's pretty much just The Rock. Don't you think?
It's a different thing to be a good actor or to be charismatic on screen. And he's got charisma. The Rock's got charisma owned. He's that's his thing. I mean, whether he's talking to an arena full of people, he gets people hyped up, and he's like the modern day Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't a fantastic actor by any means.
No.
You're fired.
But he knew his limits. I think
he knew his limits, and he could deliver a catchphrase like better than anyone. And so the Rock's got that thing going on, and I'm sure he's learning as he goes. Every day he gets better and better.
Yeah,
things will.
And that's another thing that people do is they start off doing money making things, blowing up their career, doing all that. But after a while of doing super mega force, just kidding, hits, you're gonna get bored of that and say, you know what? Now it's time to do this thing that evokes emotion, or this art. You can start to get artsy after a while.
Yeah, and they're doing that more and more now. They're being smart instead of like back in the day where they do one studio film and then one film they wanted to do. They're getting out all the studio films out of the way now, so then they can focus on their own stuff later on in the years.
Then they go do a bunch of movies with Ethan Hawke or something artsy.
Exactly. All those
Hello, Pete. How you doing?
Hello, Edward. Hi, Clint. James.
Hey, what's happening, man?
Doing well.
All right,
we're actually going to move on, I think, to
Peter and I had a pretty heated text discussion this morning about Shang-Chi.
It's interesting.
Okay. Tell us what was that all about?
He said he didn't like the font of the title, and I said, "What are you talking about? The font is amazing." And then we talked about that for like half an hour.
Oh my god, what you two guys talk about? What's wrong with the font? I can't even remember what the font is.
That's Canadian humor.
Hook, line, and sinker for the font. No, we did not discuss the font at all. We were just not specifically talking about the trailer, but just generally what the reception for Shang-Chi will be. And I have concerns, and I think James is at least more optimistic, if not necessarily.
Again, Clint, I'm like you. I see the silver lining. I'm very optimistic about things. As I was doing Peter's Wolverine origin article today. You guys go check it out on small-screen.co.uk. It's a great feature.
It's a good article. I read it.
Thank you.
I noticed you listed all the Fox X-Men movies, and you had no problem explaining how bad they were. But when you came to a good Wolverine movie, Logan, you just kind of sidestepped it. It's like, we're not going to talk about it now.
Well, I mean, for Wolverine's origin, it's not particularly relevant, right? You're talking about the wave goodbye moment to Wolverine, and for the MCU, you're probably going to wave goodbye to the MCU before you ever wave goodbye to Wolverine. So I don't think it's particularly relevant. I mean, it's certainly a good film. I don't even think it's that related to the other Fox films. Honestly, it's kind of its own entity. You could watch that movie and enjoy it and have seen none of the other Fox films. I don't think it would impact you very much at all.
Exactly what my wife did.
Damn.
Yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you on that one.
Well, that's a perfect answer. Damn you, Peter.
No. Well, I mean,
but Freddie, Edward's brother, said, "Who else worried about Shang-Chi? I thought it was made for China, but it looks like it was made for Chinese Americans. Looks badass though. Just don't think it will do well in China." See, this surprises me. This reaction I've been seeing online, and from what you were telling me, Peter.
I mean,
you don't think it's going to do well in China?
I don't know. So the only information we have comes from a story that was put out, I think today, where someone went through specifically reactions to it on YouTube in China. I think this was Hong Kong specifically. And it was not, compared to the reaction here, it was not particularly positive. Now, I mean, how much weight do you want to give that? Probably not a whole lot. But you would have expected, given how popular the MCU is in China, a pretty broad set of appeal for something that's very much targeting that market. And yeah, I mean, I have my concerns are not specifically related to China. I think there are reasons to potentially be worried about it, but it's too soon to say one way or the other.
Right.
But yeah, it would be really interesting if a film that definitely wants to do well in China specifically does not do well, because then you have to reassess what you're doing.
Yeah. Can I tell you what my first impressions? See, I was worried about Shang-Chi because I don't really know. Meow. I don't really know the.
I have to live with.
Oh my god, that's like my cat that does that. What's his name again?
His name is Oliver.
Oliver. Okay.
Yeah. Pain in the butt, but he's cute.
Never been a really big Shang-Chi fan. I just know that Jack Kirby had a lot to do with him, and and I was happy that Simu Liu got cast, but I was wondering how they were gonna pull it off. Right? I didn't understand. Like, is it gonna be like another Iron Fist? Or is it like I just couldn't see how it would fit in to Marvel because of all the movies we've experienced so far.
Well,
but then I saw the trailer and I was like, damn. Okay, so they actually have some really. It looks like they're gonna have some really good Hong Kong action martial arts scenes where they don't edit it to hell. There's a couple Jackie Chan homages there, like when in the bus crashes and he puts his foot up and
it's very Jackie Chan.
Doesn't fall out the window. The whole Enter the Dragon Bruce Lee kind of spin-off of the tournament. I think that's a great take on it too, right? So I was really impressed with the trailer. And for the reaction I saw online of people not liking it, or someone in the comments just said, yeah, Jimmy Badalitsky just said Shang-Chi could be the first flop. This really surprises me because, as I said this earlier, Peter, was anything attached to Marvel is, and you guys have said this on the show before, it's not going to be a flop, right? Because they're going to go see it. It's all interconnected.
So, I mean, I think people too have to separate, when at least for me, if I talk about something disappointing, I don't mean whether it's inherently a good film or not. We're purely speaking about box office and expectations. So a great example is the first Ant-Man. I like that film, but on a scale of Marvel, it is not a very successful film. And the second is even less successful, right?
Probably in repeat viewings and video on demand and DVD sales, right?
For sure. Like that's a possibility. But just in terms of raw box office, right? You can look at it, especially the sequel, and it's not anywhere near the other Marvel films. So you have to say something, at least with the theatrical model for that film or that franchise, does not work.
Yeah.
What is it? Who knows? But that's what, it's apples to apples. You have to compare things to Marvel itself. And my concern with Shang-Chi is not it's going to bomb. I don't think that's possible for the MCU yet. Maybe in the future, but not yet. What you could see is it underperform expectations, because people who are excited about it that I hear, people like TiVo, a lot of other people, they think this is the next Black Panther. This thing is going to make $8 gazillion. You can buy a planet with it. And I understand their enthusiasm, but I think, you have to look at what solo films do, and especially recently, and sort of gauge from there. And so my feeling is, I'm monopolizing.
No, go ahead.
My fear is if the way the film it comes out and people are like, it's a martial arts movie, I'm not super excited, that they will it'll make Ant-Man money. That's my concern for it. And I don't know what that would mean to what Marvel will do with it subsequently. Like with Ant-Man, they just said, who cares? Let's make another one. And then let's make another one. So maybe it doesn't matter for Shang-Chi, but I have to think their expectations are up here because of the market you're looking at.
Okay, so it's the box office that you're primarily concerned with, not if the movie's good or not.
Yeah. I think those are two entirely separate things. There are plenty of great movies that have made no money at all.
You should lead with that next time.
I mean, it could be a bad movie too. Let's not eliminate that possibility. That's always possible.
I don't think it will be.
It's going to be
I don't think it will
badass.
be either, but the possibility.
I think this film more than any other. I mean, comparing it to Black Panther is actually quite interesting, because I do think Marvel will look at this film the same way they looked at Black Panther at the time, which is it's kind of expanding the MCU beyond what it was to begin with, which is just like white dudes fighting people, kind of, and then in like what I worry about more when I watched that trailer, I was like, I actually think I agree with Freddie. It seems more aimed towards good one. It seems more aimed towards Chinese Americans in the same way that Crazy Rich Asians was, for instance. And I think that I do wonder whether there's not really a really recognizable Chinese action star in this film. Like
that was one of the complaints from the Chinese audience when they were going through comments.
Yeah, and I think like someone like a Donnie Yen or someone like that might have pulled, even though he's from Hong Kong, might have pulled in more Chinese audiences, or someone just to latch onto a bit more. Like Simu Liu is more kind of well known in the US. He's
the
like,
film would have suffered, and I love Donnie Yen. I love Shao Pan Lan, SPL.
Yeah.
I butchered that, but SPL and all the Ip Man movies, right? Donnie Yen, you put Wilson Yip in the director's chair and Sammo Hung doing the fight choreography. Man, it's a brilliant trio. Okay, but Donnie Yen, he's not the best actor.
No,
and
he's
it's not because of his acting skills. It's just because of the way he speaks English.
I am one with the Force, and the Force is with me.
Yeah, he doesn't deliver his English that well. And sorry, Peter, you're covered. But
That's okay.
So I would love to see Donnie Yen. But I mean, even Peter said today, he's never heard of Simu Liu, right?
Nope.
I would have heard if I didn't run into Simu Liu years ago and work with him. I would have still heard of him, but that's because I'm here in Canada, right? And
is he Canadian?
Me too, but
yeah,
he's Canadian. I think the lead doesn't really matter as much, to be honest, because it's more like an introduction kind of thing, and people are just going to like the character anyway. So I think that's fine. I think casting a relatively unknown actor in that role is okay. I think it's more like I can't remember off the top of my head who's the one that's playing the Mandarin in this movie, but I would have thought that a Donnie Yen type actor might have been a more bankable choice.
Well, they did get a for who's playing. I'll look that up.
I can't remember his name. Yeah, he's probably very well known in China.
Yeah, he's a great veteran actor in China.
I don't think inherently casting an unknown is necessarily bad, and Marvel likes to do that. The discussion James and I were having is that, usually when Marvel rolls something out, people have heard of the IP. They're familiar with it on some level. No one is like I told James when I was reading comics, I never heard of Shang-Chi, and I did not hear about him until I started covering Marvel. And there's a very broad swathe of people who cover Marvel who love Shang-Chi for whatever reason. And that was literally the first time I heard about him, and that's like 30 years after he was created. So you're climbing a mountain not just with an actor that a lot of people aren't familiar with, but an IP, and that's not something you can obviously overcome. That Guardians is the most obvious example of that, but it does mean there's more pressure to make the marketing work.
Tony Leung is the guy who plays the Mandarin. Yeah. I think it's going to be awesome. I saw that. I mean, hey, here comes cheery Clint again. But no, I saw that. I was standing on my couch holding my phone. I was like, this is going to be badass. Like, it looks great. Whether it does well in China, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. What is the reason for that? Like, what are they thinking? Is it like, oh, we have our own Chinese production companies that do movies all the time. We don't need an American version of that.
Or they don't like to be pandered to. I think that's part of it.
Okay.
No,
but that's what Hollywood's doing more than.
That's what they do.
Yeah, that's what they do.
The biggest box office market right now in the world.
Yeah, yeah, like I actually like and a recent example of that would be like the recent Terminator film, which actually did maybe the one before this latest one, not Dark Fate, the one before, did really Genesis did really well in China.
Yeah, like, terrible everywhere else.
Yeah, and it's like that was the reason why Dark Fate I think was made, was because that film actually did quite well in China. And Dark
well,
Fate
that's like The Rock, like Dwayne Johnson's tentpole films, right?
Yeah, but they do really well in China. Like literally, I think Skyscraper was set in Hong Kong or somewhere like that for that reason. Like, and it's happening more and more. Like, I think it was Iron Man 3. The end of Iron Man 3 was like changed for China. Like they put in a whole weird section at the end of that.
China often gets its own cut of Marvel films, where they'll film scenes specifically for it, and that's what's really interesting to me. Is usually the MCU is great in China, so it's really, really funny in a weird way to see a film that's very much intended for that audience.
Well, one guy on Twitter said that. One guy on Twitter on the account. Yeah, if I can't interrupt with clips, I'll interrupt with voice. So. If he said that Simu Liu didn't look like a pure Chinese, a Chinese citizen, it kind of pissed me off, and then I was like, then I had to go full defense, but. Maybe there's that sort of bias there too. I don't know.
There's that whole thing of people trying to. There's that whole thing of people trying to cancel Simu Liu for like a really old tweet as well. I was like, that's
I don't think any respectable journalist should have covered that at all.
Oh, thank you.
I'm joking, man.
Was that someone that said that on Twitter?
No, not at all.
I think someone did actually. But
Yeah,
wow.
In Hamada Burger Vision.
One thing I wanted to bring up that James and I also discussed that we haven't brought up here was what I find very interesting about the coverage of Shang-Chi is if you eliminate the public and you just look at people who cover Marvel, this is by far the film they're most excited about, above and beyond anything I ever would have guessed. And it is one of the things I was saying to James. It really skews coverage. So what Clint was saying, he was on his seat, he was all excited. And I find that you can't find a connection between that and anything from the casual audience. And it's really bizarre. And I can't explain that because it doesn't parallel Black Panther at all, where the excitement was both in the coverage and in the public very clearly. So I don't know what that's about, but it does make covering it really weird. Because everything
I can tell you what it's about.
Greatest thing ever.
I can tell you what it's about.
Yeah.
It's because it's a breath of fresh air. It's like we love Marvel stuff, but this is going to be a kung fu movie, so it's something different. But you're still going to have some powers, and you got the giant lion running through there, so you see some crouching tiger hidden. Yeah, there's some crouching tiger hidden dragon over here. You got Speed over here with Awkwafina being Sandra Bullock, and you got you got Jackie Chan, and it's like, dude, this is like a collection of all my favorite things in one movie. Now, if the script sucks, that'll be tough, but I think I'll be able to still watch it, even if it's terrible. Just from the visuals, it looks like it's going to be badass. I mean, it's a lot of and what is it not? It's not it's not an Iron Man. It's a completely different thing. It's something fresh, and I'm excited for any Marvel stuff. I love it all, but it's something different.
I need to get you an applause clip, Clint. That's what I need to do, is get you an applause clip.
Oh, there you go. I was gonna say though, Clint, you're kind of making my point though. I feel like people who cover these things are the ones who crave novelty the most. Because they have to watch it all. They have to be absorbed in it. So they just give me something different. Casual audiences are not like that at all. They barely remember what they saw 6 months ago. So this is why television is so often repetitive. Sitcoms especially. It's the same stupid stuff over and over again. People don't remember what they saw last week. So they're not they don't crave novelty the same way, or we'd see more innovation in film and in TV.
Do you think after watching that trailer that Awkwafina is going to be really annoying in this movie?
Maybe.
I think she's going to be really annoying.
She's going to be the fun person, comedy relief. Is what she's going to be.
Yeah, but it's a bit okay.
Are we gonna have an Awkwafina rant like you did on Amber Heard after the
No. I honestly, I think she's very good, but she's literally, if you've watched The Last Dragon, she's doing her Last Dragon shtick, which is very much like, I'm a weird fish out of water, and I'm going to make a weird joke here that's kind of inappropriate and not. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like it's more probably the way that Marvel trailers are cut that kind of is a bit annoying. The way that it always ends in a big action sequence, then the trailer ends, then they have a little bit at the end which is a joke. It's come on, Marvel. She's funny.
I just saw a Vanity Fair interview that I went down a Awkwafina rabbit hole just looking up some of her stuff, and there was a interview where she just kept talking really fast, and they were following her through a restaurant or something. And it was a funny interview, and I was like, this girl is hilarious. I would go hang out with her. She seems cool, She'll be the comedy relief of the movie. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
I heard that actually she just went back in to do ADR and do all of her lines again with a British accent. So you can watch her do her lines with a British accent.
And on that note, we're ending the show.
Sarcasm. Hashtag sarcasm.
I didn't know that was possible from an American.
Stop whining.
No, I'm excited for it. I think this film's going to be good. Like I did get kind of Iron Fist vibes at the beginning with the punching of the wood or whatever that was.
Yeah. The plot to me seems a lot like the Immortal Iron Fist.
Yeah, I think it will be.
That double punch and then the double kick on the bus was badass. So
yeah,
that was like so well timed and all in one shot.
I imagine fight fans will enjoy it. I just wish, and I don't think we'll see much of it. I'd love to see more of just the story, because I'm not worried about them fighting. I mean, my interest in fighting is probably less than yours is. There needs to be something that goes with it, or it's just people punching each other.
But don't you watch MMA, Peter?
I do watch MMA, but that's a different kind of entertainment, right? That's literally people punching each other.
There's going to be
someone says stop.
There's probably going to be the classic father-son thing going, and and then he's going to have to go back. He'll probably have to face his sister, who and fight her, and he's going to have to fight the people that trained him. They're trying to pull him back into the organization. You know what I mean? Like he goes off for 10 years to go live his life, and they're like, okay, hope you had fun. Time to come be the Mandarin.
Is it the Amish that do that?
Yes.
They live for like a year.
Yes, they have a fight of champions. Yeah, it's
someone will get their arm chopped off too because it's a Marvel movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Clint, I didn't mean the plot specifically, though. I just meant the quality, the acting, and the writing, less so than the specific plot points.
Yeah,
because I think we can all just imagine the plot pretty.
Yeah, I'm just saying, there's room for drama, though. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm pretty sure they'll deliver. That's just my theory. What do I know? What do I know?
You're an optimist. Nothing wrong with that.
I am an optimist.
Did everyone notice how they? I'm not pessimistic. Did anyone notice Did anyone notice that they changed the rings? So they're arm rings now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure someone's going to get their arm chopped off to get the rings. I bet you that's going to happen. And yes,
a arm ring fight like in Kung Fu Hustle. That would be badass.
Well, I think this is right up your street, isn't it, James? You're really into your kung fu movies, right?
Yeah. Like, I grew up on them. I grew up on blaxploitation and 60s, 70s kung fu films, and then I was into martial arts as a kid, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger weightlifting and stuff, and I was trained by a power lifter, and then I trained in boxing and a little taekwondo, and then I was head of media for Schwarzenegger World Games in Columbus, Ohio in 2001. Underneath the World United Martial Arts Association. So I got to meet a lot of people that trained under Bruce Lee or trained him on nunchucks, and a lot of crazy martial artists. You ever want to have a really crazy fun time? Go to martial artist convention and go to the bar afterwards in the hotel. That is nuts.
What would you think if they got Gareth Evans in to direct?
I'm all for it. I've seen Danzig say that before, and I'm all for that. If they get him and the fight choreographers from the Raid, and even the Raid 2, you get those guys and to do Iron Fist or any kind of martial art, huge Hollywood tentpole. It doesn't even have to be Marvel. I'm all for that.
I was gonna say though, I don't think you're gonna get that kind of Iron Fist. I think Shang-Chi is gonna occupy that space, and Iron Fist is gonna be like a funny, jokey guy hanging out with Luke Cage. I think if you see him at all, that's what you're gonna get, because Feige won't want to repeat things. And Netflix, whatever you think of the job they did, that's what they were trying to do, at least, and it failed. And then if Shang-Chi's going to be occupying that territory, you can't do the same thing. I don't think it works.
That'll be a Heroes for Hire film.
Yeah.
That's what it'll be. So
and that's much more interesting, I think.
I have seen the Raid 1 and 2 about 1 billion times. So
the Raid 2, I think, is better. I don't know why.
No, I can see that.
I really liked the Raid. I love the Raid 1, but I think the Raid 2 is just insane. Are they still remaking it? Are they doing it? Are they doing an American version of the Rage?
No, if they did, it fell out. Like, I think I heard rumblings about that years ago. Have you seen The Mission by Johnny Toe?
No.
None of you guys? Okay.
No.
It's on YouTube. I'm sending you guys a link. It's homework. You have to watch it this weekend.
The Mission. All right.
Yeah, it's Tarantino, Christopher McQuarrie. So many good directors took a lot of cues from Johnny Toe.
Oh,
like,
okay.
I don't know if you ever seen Way of the Gun with Benicio del Toro and Ryan.
Yes.
That whole communicate through not dialogue, but through facial expressions and mannerisms and stuff. Christopher McQuarrie got from Johnny Toe. The suspense of the action scenes and the gun scenes, that's Tarantino got. That's totally out of Johnny Toe.
Yeah. Well, he nicked a lot of things from a lot of people.
Well, but you need to watch The Mission, and then you'll get a finer
I'm writing it down now. The Mission.
Yeah. You get a finer appreciation for a whole scope of Hong Kong cinema. So
awesome. And on that note, I think I'm going to end the show because it's almost 1 o'clock for me in the morning.
Hold on, there's someone was asking.
So Sassafras, when we're going to hear the story of how Edward, a fine British gentleman, thank you, met a Canadian memer, James. That's an interesting story, actually. Not really.
Hey, I read an interesting article about D'Onofrio being Kingpin. Do you think they're gonna recast him? Or...
What that was Stephen the Knight said that there can good segue, but no other person could ever play Kingpin other than Vincent D'Onofrio, and I honestly think he's right. If they're going to go for the comic book version of it, because that's really what they did with Vincent D'Onofrio. He's very much kind of he's a kind of realistic comic book accurate version of the Kingpin, isn't he? Really,
especially in season 1.
Yes,
it's a little more comic booky in season 3, but season 1 for sure. Yeah.
Do you think You think he's gonna Kool-Aid Man into a Madripoor and be like, "I am the power broker"?
I would love that at this point. Bring it on.
I think Marvel will recast Kingpin with Jesse Eisenberg and go Justice League route.
I would love to see the reaction to that. Oh, amazing.
What about if they got Bryan Cranston in to play Kingpin?
As Kingpin?
Yeah. I think he's a little old now.
You reckon?
He wouldn't be able to bulk up. Like,
in his 60s,
D'Onofrio is perfect.
Yeah, he would do it too, but
yeah, he would do it. Yeah, I mean,
what about Hank from Breaking Bad?
Yeah, kind of bald white guy, I suppose. Yeah,
I don't know if he's big enough though. Like D'Onofrio is a huge dude.
Yeah,
that's like not just bulk, but he's actually a really big guy.
Yeah,
and since Hollywood actors tend to be short, it works even better.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's one of the few people from Netflix I would be happy to see them bring in, and they can. It's just whether they want to or not.
If they're going to use the character at all, I think Kevin Feige would want him to play him. Then again, it depends on whether they're going to use the character in the MCU.
And they're using Charlie Cox, right?
Yeah.
Supposedly, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it makes sense. Honestly, they wouldn't be the three actors that I would bring back if I was Kevin Feige. Charlie Cox, John Bernthal as the Punisher, and Vincent D'Onofrio as
Finn Jones, of course.
Yeah. I'm sorry about Finn, but no.
So that's is that true?
They were really well cast. Also, Kristen Ritter was really well cast as Jessica Jones, but I don't think they would use her. I think they just wouldn't use the character.
You can't tell her good stories now. Kristen Ritter, not only has she already done the best in the first season, but she's kind of too old to do that role in that way. You'd need to recast her, I think, if you wanted to use her.
Yeah. I do wonder whether they wouldn't I don't think they'd reuse her in the MCU.
Only if you want her attached to Luke Cage, I think. Then maybe you could do it.
Not to change the subject, but since you said you're about to kill the stream soon, I want to know if anybody has any last second theories about Falcon and Winter Soldier since that's coming up.
Wow. What theories are you talking about, Clint?
I mean, like who's going to be the power broker? And I keep fighting. I'm like,
haven't we already seen the power broker?
We don't know for a fact who the power broker is.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be
Lady Hydra. They never said it was Madame Hydra.
Nope, they never said that, and we don't know if it's Carter either. So it's up in the air.
One thing I noticed that was really funny, a meme on Twitter, is that apparently she's using an HTC phone in that clip. And that phone, it's like from 2009. And I was like, you're in Madripoor and you're using fucking HTC.
That's special government tech.
I mean, I was like, was that shot ages ago? I was like, really?
I mean, I think, Clint, I think it has to be Sharon Carter because they haven't spent enough time with anyone else for there to be any kind of payoff whatsoever. So I think it has to be her. Whether people are going to be satisfied with that or not, I mean, to me, I don't care at this point.
Yeah, think that's why
the power brokers just who cares?
Do you think that's why she called Batroc?
Presumably,
power broker.
But are we worried about Batroc? Is that really the
I want to see
villain you
more
want Falcon to have to beat up on? A guy who's never won a fight?
Who? Well, I don't even know who Batroc is.
Or Batroc the Leaper.
Georges St. Pierre. Does that help?
He's French. How do you not know him?
ESP.
Not French. He's Quebecois.
Yeah, he's Quebecois. I think he's from near Montreal.
Not the character.
Well, I keep thinking that Sharon Carter's undercover working for somebody, you know, and
that's a better story.
Yeah, because the idea then that she's doing all this stuff, but at the end of the day, she's going to flip and be working for somebody because it takes a lot. She was a hero character, you know what I mean? So it's like some serious betrayal for her to actually change who she is and flip into a bad character. I think that's So I think that's I think it would be silly just to be like, oh yeah, I'm a bad guy now. You know what I mean? Without any kind of like real story behind it, you know?
But Prince Zodiac comes up with a really important thing, actually. Can you bring that up? The Apple thing. Apple doesn't let bad guys use Apple products. So actually, the fact that she's using an HTC phone is proof that she's the power broker. There we go. We've solved it.
That she's a bad guy.
Clint, the theory is that it's actually a Skrull pretending to be Sharon Carter.
That's a good theory.
That's a theory, and that it's meant to help set up Secret Invasion.
It's such a cop out now that they brought Skrulls into the MCU because and so
stop whining.
No, I'm gonna whine about that.
Stop whining.
It's fucking stupid.
The other, I think that's what you're gonna get.
And I'm also still of the opinion. I said it earlier before you were on. I don't know if you were in the rating room or not, that Isaiah, because they showcased his strength throwing that ashtray or whatever it was into the wall.
See a Skrull too. Oh, sorry.
No. That he's going to show up at the end and do something heroic and maybe die saving Falcon or something, and then he's going to be like, you know what? You are good enough. You could be Captain America. You're good enough, and he's going to sacrifice himself. And I could see that going.
That's an interesting approach. I don't think he'll die. I do think he'll change his mind though, and give Falcon his blessing, because otherwise his character has no purpose in the show for Falcon. Because Falcon has wanted the shield back the entire ever since he gave it up. He wants it back. So you need something from Isaiah.
So it's like, hey, he's going to take his son literally under his wing, and go get it, and he'll end up going off with Falcon. Anyway, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
It's coming out soon. I'm going to be watching Mortal Kombat though first. I'm sorry.
Oh, you poor man. Why would you subject yourself to that?
The film looks good. I don't know.
Do you know who Charlie Snyder is? The emergency awesome guy.
Yes.
Okay, so that is a man, I think you would agree, who loves everything as much as it's humanly possible to love everything.
Yeah.
His review of Mortal Kombat had a lot of a lot more hesitation than I'm used to. So it made me worry that guy is.
I really like the trailer. The trailer really got me ready for it. So
it could be fun regardless, right? A film like that doesn't have to be, The Godfather or something.
Yeah, I'm just feeling more like a Mortal Kombat film than the last episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Can we get Danzig to write the rest of Falcon and Winter Soldier?
See,
I like that idea.
When I saw the last trailer before the show came out, I actually put up on Twitter that saying how come I'm getting Major Sin vibes here. Especially when she was talking to that guy in the graveyard that we saw last episode. But the way they cut it reminded me of a Crossbones vibe mixed with Sin. And I could totally see her being Red Skull's daughter, but it would more be like a granddaughter now at this point.
Yeah, it'd be a granddaughter for sure. Yeah, that's a really cool idea. There's Batroc. I feel like once the episode airs tomorrow, or at least tomorrow for me, one of the stories we're going to get in the following days is about how her story got badly butchered when they had to reshoot to get rid of the virus plot. Because it's pretty apparent that a lot of her content is on the cutting room floor. If you go through the Flag Smasher story, it is thin. And I suspect that's a major reason for that. But that would be a great twist for me, because for me, she has been flat all the way through the show, unfortunately.
Well, I mean,
I disagree about her being flat. I think it's been a pretty good character. And that moment she had with Sam was good.
I got to disagree with you there. It didn't really. It doesn't work for me, at least I should say.
Well, at least maybe. I like your T-shirt.
Yeah, T-shirt. I like the idea behind the Flag Smashers. I just don't think the execution's been very coherent.
I would like to see the OG cut of the season, but with the virus. I
don't think Marvel ever does that. I would too, though.
60 hours long.
Release the Falcon cut.
It should be the same amount of time, because all you're doing is replacing the Power Broker plot with the virus plot. Because the show was done before they did the reshoots, so it'd be the same length. You just have different cuts.
Have you heard that they're apparently doing reshoots for Shang-Chi?
I haven't, but I assume that they would. I mean, they're always scheduled.
They usually do reshoots, yeah.
Unless these are unscheduled.
And everyone's like, "Oh my god, they're doing reshoots. Oh, what's the matter with the film and everything?" Every single time, like,
Marvel
do at least 2 weeks reshoots, and every time.
It's the British accent part. They had to.
Yeah. Well, they also, we talked about this before, but Marvel tests their movies probably almost more than anybody else does, and they will change things if something's not working. Out it goes, and we put something new in, or just eliminate it entirely.
Edward, you're getting really close to Batroc there. Like, how can you not want to see him?
He's a big fan.
Doesn't he look menacing there, all hunched over, like he's ate too many bad tacos or something?
Or GSP.
Will we see Zemo again?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
I hope so.
Maybe in a Black Panther 2. Maybe we'll see him in Black Panther 2.
Cool.
Yeah.
He's going to Thunderbolts. That's where I think he's going to go.
Yeah,
Thunderbolts. You got to have Johnny Walker and Zemo, led by Thunderbolt Ross. Isn't he in control of the raft? Like,
yep.
Yeah. So they're taking Zemo straight to him. So you'll have Elaine show up, and then it's a party.
Oh my God. Let's hope not, but maybe.
Yeah.
Right. And on that note, I really have to go. That's so spooky. That is so spooky. Thanks to everyone for joining. Thank you, Clint. Thank you, Peter. Man. Thank you, James. Why don't you promote yourselves? Give yourselves a bit of self-promotion. Clint, where can we find you?
You can find me at the Black Shirt Podcast. I've been throwing up videos. I've been doing a weekly thing, but now I've been just putting up solo videos because my co-host has been taking a break. But I'm also, if you're not doing anything tonight, in about 2 hours, I'm going to be on my other channel doing a stream. It's called Answering for a Friend. This isn't.
So that's is that true?
Come on, dude.
It's a really good show, actually. I watched last week's. It's
called Answering for a Friend, and it's an advice show. So if you go in there in the comments, you can ask questions. Me and my friend Mia, we will answer the questions, and we also have stuff emailed to us. And if you send us a video, we'll play the video of you asking the question. So that's Answering for a Friend. Please check out both channels and subscribe. And thank you guys for giving me a second to plug that.
And Peter, where can we find you?
For me, it's on Marvel on YouTube and on. Gotta get that intro in. So, yes, that on Twitter and on YouTube, and I have a blog called MCU and Comics as well.
And you also have a column on.
And I have a column on Small Screen. That's right.
Yes,
on Wolverine.
Yeah. A very good and very informative article on Wolverine. So go and check that out, guys. And you can find me at Small Screen Co. And where can we find James?
At 42cutcom.
Awesome. Right, James, you can end the show now. Thank you, guys.
Later, guys. Thanks again for having me.
See you later.
No problem.
Later, Peter.
See you.
Bye, guys.
Wow.